Actual Fandom can use this catchphrase if he wants, but they are gatekeeping.
If you watch the video clip that we uploaded on the Fandom Initiative channel the other day, corresponding with the mission statement, where it's basically just, we talked about how we wish people like Bosch, but like Xander Hall does sometimes, but like they're not, from what I've seen, they haven't covered this stuff. Obviously they know, probably all of them know that this stuff can radicalize people to the right, but I don't know if they realize how intentional and orchestrated and organized it kind of seems like it is.
And you don't want to admit any of those people you just showed can radicalize people to the left. No bad tactics, only bad targets, I guess. There's so many moderate left voices that you could have picked out, but no, you went with those people.
With Landau, he's said that it's this sort of content that
okay, that's enough for this particular intro right now at this particular time. Gonna have something else for everyone here. Let's start off with a little bit more actual fandom, because there's a couple different ways I could go with this stream. Let me start it off with a big bang, going over some of this history we sadly have to run over for this particular guy here. So, where should we go with actual fandom and all his crazy lunacy? And if this goes out, I hear a big thunderstorm behind me. Don't be too surprised by any of that. So let's give it a go with the lovely Nerdette in her premium video. This was before I really picked up on the whole Fandom initiative thing with actual fandom with his craziness. So
it was absolutely
go over
you'll see. Let me
a little bit of it.
The idea that he thinks he completely and utterly destroyed my channel. It has nothing. He thinks he completely and utterly destroyed my channel. It has nothing. And I promise you, nothing to do with him. It has to do with how I decided to be, how I changed, how I went about my channel. So let's take a look. And I went through the chat. They don't really say anything about me. Props to that.
I'm glad. But what we're doing next is going to be even better. I promise you that. Yeah.
Awkward.
By the way, I also kind of dealt a pretty crippling.
Yep, you have a whole bunch of cast of characters who keep on joining and leaving. Mr. Dane, he, him, okay, back when he was forced diversity. Going back to the beginning, the earliest thing that I could find.
Blow to Nerdette's Newsstands channel. Boom!
Boom! No, honey, you did not. I dealt my own blow because of what I had done when it comes to growing and evolving as a person, and basically seeing the real truth in the fact that both sides include a massive amount of hypocrisy, including Dane being very far left and including the very far right. They both include a fair amount of hypocrisy. And I saw it and I sat back and I looked.
Yep, horseshoe theory at play here. Of course, Dane would be all on it. Nerdette, she's trying to get the middle ground stuff going, but a little bit flaky here and there with it. No hate on her.
Boom. Go ahead and set that up. Go ahead and throw that out there. Yeah, dude, like I made that video like last year where I reached out to her and, you know, she was like, had been in my comments saying that she was rethinking Comicsgate stuff and whatever. And I reached out.
Mind you, when he made that video, we replied to it on stream. I was very respectful. I had been out of Comicsgate for like well over a year, if not even more. But the thing is with these people, they do not, once you have a label, it can never change. It can never change. Saying that I was in Comicsgate at that point is absolutely factually incorrect.
Out there, I said, hey.
And even if you don't give yourself a label, other people will tend to give that shit to you. Okay, Chud, no matter what the term is, you shouldn't let that down. You shouldn't let that let you down too much in any case. I'm going to be speed running this particular thing because there's a lot to go over and even going to take a little break at some point, probably.
Out here, I did not attack him. I said I wasn't going to be supporting his channel anymore because I had noticed a pattern of false information, misinformation, whatever you want to say, when things had been factually proven against his narrative, he does not include that in his different videos, right? Like particularly,
Of course, cutting context is what people do. Some people also use that as a defense that their enemies cut context, sort of like why I showed the first video. He was literally trying to get a whole bunch of people who's, in retrospect, has their freaking careers sort of shattered since I made this video on top of his video of trying to get Vosh to go after his enemies, and his the hindsight of that is so funny in retrospect, at least. Vosh
just done. I didn't like the way he treated people. He's very, very demeaning to a lot of people that come in his comments, that come in his live shows. He treats them very disrespectfully. If they have any sort of dissenting view, he calls them chuds. And I don't mind the word chud. I don't care. But when you start using words like Nazi, when you start name calling, and it just gets to a point where somebody can only take that so much. It's not my game. Again, I've said it 100 times over the past 4 years. I'm a pacifist. I may get mad. I may get heated. But I am not going to.
Of her channel, right? Like basically, when she stopped making such antagonistic content, she started losing stats.
He just showed exactly what I said. It had nothing to do with me. It was because I stopped bowing to fake outrage. Now, to be fair, I do believe he is on the spectrum. Please, nobody send hate. I have not a bone of hate in my body.
Yes, he's said many times, used it as a defense for his actions. There was also something about an email coming out here that where he was a little bit creepy on it. Maybe that should be the next one I look into. Next one on the list. Much longer to get through overall.
But all Dane had to do was look like
To figure out what kind of content you're going to do next. That's better than what you've been doing. Like,
Okay, let's
I reached out
bring
to the
this,
fucking hand, and
this one.
And you know what's really
up.
funny here? Is he tries to act like he's like started this whole thing of calling people
Okay,
out.
this is getting weird.
When I call people out, it's for
It will
actual
get weird
reasons.
here.
You're oh my God, look at the chuds. Oh my God, look at the grifters. Oh my God, look at the whatever.
You speak your truth to power, girl. Come on. Just labeling them however you want to. Not great.
To
Not
their-
great indeed.
I don't know, narrative, I guess. Dane is trying to be the Vosh of the comic book community. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
you know, clearly thinks that I direct people what to do.
And this was before the downfall. Right before the
Obviously,
downfall.
me and Bob worked together from the first conversation that we had because Ethan was streaming that conversation the same day that we had it. It has 20-something thousand subscribers. I have like, 6,500. And you're talking about guys with hundreds of thousands of subs who really have no.
Wait, hold on. We're going to do the punching down argument again here. If somebody criticizes you that doesn't have a big enough platform, or that has a bigger platform, you're not allowed to say anything. Okay. But you are. You are. You absolutely are. These bullshit argument of you're not allowed to punch down, I hate. If somebody criticizes you and spreads in your words bigotry and misinformation, I am.
And this is funny given their sort of interaction with Gray and Pat, which is also something that's gonna definitely come up. Come on, Tristan, get into some of the more meaty stuff. Gonna actually go into the transcript to really get into stuff because should have done a little bit better research.
Position is.
And trust me, if they get their way and just trans people are essentially not allowed to exist publicly anymore.
Oh God.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy.
Dane spends too much time online. I figured it out.
Yep. The transgender side theory that a lot of people like to go with. Okay, got a lot of stuff out there. Yep, Bosch. All the crazy stuff all around. But we're taking a blast from the past and going down this trail.
He needs to touch grass literally. Yes. Yes. Absolutely he does.
Again, they're not going to stop there. That's just not the way it works. But, the right-wing misinformation propaganda machine is very, very efficient. And it has been for quite a while. And the left has not had that.
What? Oh my God, you guys. The right. the right-wing propaganda machine is real, and they've had that for a long time, and the left wing does not have that.
Yep, that's some crazy talk, some cognitive dissonance. We are the good guys. They are not. Okay, remember that, folks. Only one side can have all the justice for all.
Yeah, go into defending pedophilia here. I am not destigmatizing, rather. I'm not going to go into the video about Matt Jarbo. I am going to skip that.
Fair enough, Tristan. But yeah, the destigmatizing of maps and the term for non-offending pedophiles, TMI, who knows? They omit it to destigmatize even that is faulty. I have a whole video where there's a whole section dedicated to that sort of a brain rot in there.
Is catastrophic to a person's life.
Because that's his information. I know he put it out there. I do.
The path that leads to,
I understand he put it out there. I do.
Drug use.
But I don't care.
I think he admits that it's way so over the top, but there is a truth to power to it. Okay. And some of the crazy stuff. Let's see if she even gets into it with this.
Essentially, she brought up that I had used, and I say I because I edited the mission statement. I mean, I don't have to say that. I'm sure they're perfectly fine. We all agreed on everything in it, so it's by us. But I am the one who physically did the work. I am the one who physically put the screenshot, which I'll show now. As soon as I find it here.
Come on, buddy. You can do it. Yeah, these guys are right in the chat. If you see Hooded says, no offense to Robert, but I hate how Dane blames autism for his outburst. And Robert agrees. He does this at least twice, I want to say, during this. But he says, I'm on the spectrum. Okay.
That is the excuse Dane will use constantly for all his little gaps. Okay. And she's going to go over this, it looks like.
Now it looks a little weird because it's on here. This is one of his articles. Child sex workers' biggest threat, the police. Yeah, this is the guy he's going to defend over and over again. There is no such thing as a child sex worker, you dumb motherfucker. Meet Noah Bertlatsky, the Rutgers University Press published author working hard to normalize pedophilia. This is who he's going to defend, again, over and over. Now, Noah works for Protasia, which also has an undermining goal to normalize pedophilia. The organization is vying for legitimacy to push his agenda into the mainstream. This is who he's going to defend over and over. Are essentially a stigmatized group. People hate them. Yeah. Yep, of course they do. Parents are tyrants. Parents are an oppressive class, like rich or white people. This is who he's gonna fucking defend over and over and over again. Yeah, you're a sick motherfucker. But he's okay with that person because they said something naughty about Comicsgate. Oh my God.
Yep, they are so worth defending, aren't they? They are the biggest people to defend. Okay. It's just in the freaking sort of cope that Dane has that people who do not support his position are potential helping potential child predators out is just insane. That's what these two, Nerdette Newsstand, Tristan of Nerdette's Newsstand, and Ray of whatever Saggy Melons changed her fucking channel into. Realities or whatever. A little bit lame. Okay. I know why she wants to sort of distance herself from the Saggy Melons name, but that is legitimately past the point.
She was questioning a lot of things. That's why she ended up, saying that to me in my comments, and I reached out like, hey, I was trying to kind of build a bridge there. And when I was on her stream, I couldn't help but notice that one of the mods in her chat was Mega Arts.
Yeah.
Which is
here we go.
It was like, and maybe I don't think I had the full Mega experience.
This, if you ever want to hear, people use grasping at straws a lot as a kind of gotcha. This is the true definition of grasping at straws. 3 years ago, I had a mod that said mean things on Twitter. That's what this is going to be. And I don't have him as a mod for one anymore. It's been a long time since I have. But two, I'm not on Twitter, you dumb motherfucker. How the fuck would I know what he said?
To that point, so I kind of just like, oh, okay, weird. But then the more I experienced him on Twitter and stuff, I thought, like, why the fuck is that a mod in her YouTube chat, right? And I think even
I'm not kidding, and I'm working on getting the emails through Gmail, because it's really hard when something's that old to get your old emails. But I think this is a fair statement of the day we can all agree on. Everybody likes boobs. Yep, that's a fair statement. But he literally emailed me and he's like,
do we get the creepiness
you know that I met a
now?
guy? He was super mean to me.
Yeah,
He said something about my
he's
friend
getting into this.
mom dying or something along those lines. He was super mean, and I don't think you should have him as a mod anymore. Like, it was if you're gonna associate with me, you're not allowed to have that person as a mod. What? Wait, you're gonna try to tell me what to do with my platform? And I took him at his word that it was true. I shouldn't have.
Yeah,
But
always a mistake.
I did. Now I see he's just a ridiculous liar, but that's regardless. But yes, it was literally like fucking obnoxious. I don't care what you do on Twitter. It doesn't affect you here.
even another one, maybe I'm mistaken, but Phoenix Tornado is another one of these guys, maybe even the same guy, just under different accounts for all I know.
I don't even know who that is.
Unwell people who have been exploited and weaponized by Comicsgate. Or they're just Ethan Van Sciver using sock accounts. I don't know. It could be either one. Yeah, so why is that dude a fucking mod in your chat? You know what I mean? And eventually I did mention to her, emailed, like, hey, what's up with that? I don't know if you ever did anything about it. She
Yes, he does. Because I emailed him back and said, I'll take care of it. And he said, thank you. So there he is, lying again. How many more lies are we going to catch you in, Dane? Like, here's the thing.
How many more lies? Lie. Problems with other.
Do you realize how weird that is to be like, this person said a mean tweet 4 years ago? So I don't think you are allowed to have him as a mod on your own personal channel. It's so fucking important. And pause, you are very important. Wait. Is he mixing up Black Phoenix and Black Tornado? Wait, what? I didn't even catch that. Black Phoenix is... Okay, all right. Black Phoenix is not Black Tornado. I don't even know who Black Tornado is.
did try to say that, like, oh yeah, I guess I forgot or something. It's like, man, if you're against Comicsgate and you think they're a bad thing, like whatnot, like you should be more aware of who the fuck the mods are in your chat. Be responsible with your platform is generally the issue here, right? Which she's not. A lot of people aren't. I'm sure I fuck up. You know, I definitely fucked up before with my platform.
Be responsible with your platform, guys. Don't play video games and talk about pop culture or call out bullshit even. Be responsible. Video games are not responsible because they don't have politics in them.
And probably will again.
Yeah, they do, though.
Maybe I am right now. So, Omega Arts is a big piece of shit, and let's just take a look at who she had as a mod in her chat. But not that. So here, he had retweeted this, which was fucking mouse cursor, under a Rakita. You know, that guy's a big piece of shit, too. So
it's going to be a little hard to see. I apologize. I was not taking a chance of him striking my channel like he did Tommy Mark.
You see that? This is retweeted. Cool guy there. So this is a...
It's going to be impossible to see. No, there's some of them you can.
Yeah, sorry, I let that go on a little bit too long. We're on no one's side. Tristan here with all of this nonsense here. Just going over some of the past stuff. This is almost in response to Charles sort of talking out with her. Okay, the whole Charles leaves it, I think, really hurt Dane, along with this nerdette debate. Okay, it's going to be hard to really hammer things in home properly in such a small little segment. But let me get into the gray stuff. Okay, take you along with this sort of history.
He's a bit of a thinker, so he can actually.
Okay, so let's go to where Gray ranked good old Charles or Willis Greedio.
I think so, but perhaps disagree with my next choice, if you will. Yeah, for me, his content is just a D. I don't know, like every once in a while he has something that seems
here we go.
decent,
but
like the most.
Gray
I don't know. For a comedian, you'd think that it would actually be like funny or entertaining, or there'd be some reason to watch it. There'd be some sort of entertainment. To me, it just it doesn't seem to be passing, or if so, like, you know, you're not getting the overall diploma, so to speak. You know, perhaps you don't have it on your record that you failed, but I don't know. I would expect more from an actual comedian. But you know, one day we might see his tight 10. You know, he might just be done after working on it for a decade. But we'll see. But yeah, intelligence as well. Just the fact that he's like coming to our comment section.
Okay. We have this little incident. Charles from Willis Greedia responded, which I think is age gated or member gated or something like that. Maybe talk to him about it if you want to see that particular thing. But they did have Charles on for this very special.
Roasted, bro.
They were comedians back then,
like,
a Don Rickles or like I guess maybe today like a Jeff Ross. They kind of consider him like roast comedians, but it's kind of that like insult comment.
It's fucking sharp with that shit
for sure, and dark. But I don't know. Do you view that the same as roast comedy, or I don't know? Does roasting have to be like in that one specific thing where you're
punching down though?
Kind of all eyes are on you.
It really
let's
depends,
actually get them back
the
where they're
scenario?
going.
Chris Rock talking.
They push get us.
Thanks, I appreciate that. All right, well, welcome. So we're joined today by Sipo, Charles from Willis Greedia. This is really awesome, man. This is something that I did not anticipate happening, and then you're a much bigger man than us. You actually made yourself vulnerable, reached out to us, and there was actually some sort of like communication for him. So this is really awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
Thank you for allowing this to happen. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
We're really honored to have you, sir.
No, thank you for being open to the situation. And like you said, 2 weeks ago, I would have completely thought this was just the furthest thing from happening.
Same.
Us too. We definitely would have anticipated this, and we would have assumed this was.
I agree.
Yeah, we probably would have assumed this was like some sort of trap or something. Probably would have gotten into some weird paranoia. But just the way that you kind of reached out to us and did make yourself vulnerable. It's like, wait, this dude's being honest. Yeah. Are we? And you did reference the title of our show, and
just be honest, guys. Okay, good showing from all these men here. Not always the most on the ball, but at least I commend this particular moment from these particular people here.
We're glad to hear.
I'm happy to be here. Like I said, I before I did like my reaction thing that I thought was going to be a hurrah thing for a certain group, but before I did that, like I watched an episode where you guys just the structure felt familiar. Everything about it felt familiar. It was like
going down the torturous lane of actual fandoms, sort of punching up with various groups. Okay, there's a lot within. I'm starting from here because Charles has a problem. The particular things said about Charles, supposedly maybe a doxy, even according to him on Kidda's Thinkers channel. I don't know the validity of that, but bad stuff going down the memory lane of actual fandom.
That's weird because we took a long time thinking about that, and we originated this thing. So thank you for noticing.
Well, it was just like
our dedication.
Two dudes talking about their things they watched, and it just wasn't like it didn't feel very Klansman-y at all. Just
that's a separate. That's a separate stream. That's my channel.
Despite popular opinion.
They kid. You gotta love these guys. Okay, they had to ask a chud section where they have a totally revolutionary term for chud. Okay, so this Charles' reaction to them led to this sort of thing, which also fucked over Tristan to a good amount. Also, probably put her on Dane's shit list, but it's already been annoying being on Dane's shit list. You just got to deal with it and roll with the punches most times. So from their particular talk,
this whole I don't know, did you guys cover now? Because all of the stuff I seen when I prepared to talk to Bob was the YouTuber issue that I had. Did you guys cover a lot of other media, nerdy media, supposedly how the mission statement had started?
I'll be honest that I mean they'll tell you this that I was more of a movie guy. I certainly wasn't a comics guy, despite there was a particular.
And there's Gray, of course. He was the comedy guy trying to make up for his amends against Charles Willis Greedia.
Prominent name in the illustrator community that follows me on Instagram, and I follow him back. Ross is their last name. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
And that was a point of contention for. I don't think anybody really in the initiative, but it was always like, why you? But again,
Wow.
nobody. No, please. I'm not saying anybody in the initiative.
Right.
It was more. I'm a movie guy, not any initiative members. I want to make that abundantly clear.
You're also a
Nobody.
comedy guy too, right?
Yes, I'm literally a professional comedian. Although Gray and Patrick would say quite the opposite. But yes, I was a working road comedian for quite a while. Kind of shifted to mentoring, and I have the.
Aren't they just the worst? That darn Gray and Patrick. The proprietors against a freaking Willis Greedia. No, not Willis Greedia. And Timon wanted in because he also followed all this fun stuff.
I was
Do
helping.
you remember this old era?
Yeah, I try to forget about it, but
Yes, you forget about it, but this
was a pivotal moment.
Right, you can, roll your googly eyes in your thumbnails, but doesn't change the fact that this is grossly misleading. And that was kind of my thing. But a lot of the stuff, especially when it came to the whole debate stuff was quite interesting back in the day.
See, and this is where I was initially wrong with Charles, because Charles was the one not to initially get the whole chunky monkey thing involved. Like he called
July. He was trying to be funny, have a single amount of standards for him, but they didn't realize how hypocritical the Phantom Initiative was. With
he also called, and this is where I had to I corrected myself with Charles, like when I talked with him, like the whole thing. Like he legitimately believed Bob was his friend. And
maybe Bob was his friend in a certain way, but don't mix business with
like
pleasure.
I'm just saying, like from what I get, it's like his friend. So what are you gonna do with your friend? You're gonna defend your friend and the person who attacked your friend.
And Eric July was quite had a meltdown on Bob, saying quite a few things after Bob came on and debated him, and was being like a fucking plank of wood with his realization and other things like that.
Like even if. Like, and that's when I started getting into Kiddo's group, right? Like, the concept is, like, Charles was just thought he was still pretty much in. Like, I always liked Charles on
that we do.
That more. But, like, he was right. I did not think it was correct with Eric July. No matter how pissed someone makes you, don't go after their family.
Yeah, and Eric July was just sort of talking out his ass, making jokes that were over the top.
He was making jokes over the line. I've done it once or twice. I have a guy accusing me of doing it.
Haven't we all?
But it's that moment where, like, but Bob did go after Eric, and Charles did defend his friend, and then of course the whole chunky monkey thing happened, and that's his borderline history.
Take major issue if you look at my videos. Remember Jim the Casual, who they seem to have taken pride in. Okay, I brought that up in one of my particular videos.
It's the deal of I don't know what you're going over. I'll be here, but like the idea is I'll help you up too, because a lot of this was like Charles is a good dude. All he does is he might be a little left leaning, but he knows mostly films. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
he's good input, very wise, but it's as it goes. When you get burned by a group, right? What do you do?
Yep, it's really hard to know what to do. Who.
But yeah, like
and
that
with this
whole
particular thing here, let me just bring up. This is
one
part of the debate here.
I can't remember his name, but they talked to him.
Yeah.
This is Gray and Andrew doing a review of the Tristan Nerdette debate with Bob.
Jim the Casual or something.
Prepare for battle. there is a lot of discourse between a lot of the new shows that are rolling out, and I want to get your temperature reading on what's going on right now.
I remember this one.
Section of my video where I sort of highlight how much they milk just sort of making this guy look like a racist off of saying an actual N-word.
Do you know what this is?
Honestly, it's about the same.
This is pause it a sec. This is Dane's tactic of if you can like
shame.
Do you know like how you can
word.
Do you know like how
debate
when you can get like the debate bro, or it only takes one cop to spoil the entire force. All you need is one example to make the person look like dog shit.
Yep, low hanging fruit, or
that's what I had to explain to someone why one of my friends goes after somebody. He asks, "Why does a person go after him?" I go,
"This is Dane. One's Dane.
This is Dane."
Okay.
So the one that I have going after somebody, he goes, "Why does he always go after this one person?" You know my answer to him? He's he's low-hanging fruit.
Yep. Okay. Get them on stupid points that doesn't actually follow the spirit of what's being discussed. Always a good, easy tactic.
It's a horrible tactic to grift or make something, and I don't fault him for ever doing this. But it's like, where there's one idiot, there's 5 idiots.
Yep.
So,
but yeah, I found this extremely lame overall.
He said it
and then
to no one as a demonstration.
No, then Dane used this as the Jim the Casual thing, as he owned the right-wing person, and it was set in a casual context, not even with no meaning.
And the whole thing that he put Patrick through, making him send in the fucking list, that was one of their first episodes about these guys, and they kept on just escalating it.
Oh no!
And
no, Eric, who was legit going to talk to Patrick, he kept putting it off, and then and we still don't know the full details about that. Like, I've been wondering the full inside baseball. I know kind of what happened is he ran the questions across Dane, but Eric did not think it was a violation of something.
Yeah, and just made fun of Patrick for his ignorance on the subject matters, which Dane doesn't, or Eric debunks, sort of is a full expert on.
He is
to be on top of
he
this.
was brought on to them as, I'm not saying as their pocket go-to gay guy, but
it's not. They didn't bring him on for that either. Okay, he's definitely the token guy.
It's
for that particular.
And I don't want to accuse them of this, but it's like Dane says he's demisexual and bi. You got Morgan and all these others.
We're not going to hold ourselves to the same.
Sorry. You got Morgan and all of them, right? Who are borderline that way. And it's like, you bring Eric debunks on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I have my issues with him, but he's not Eric is at least a true believer in his cause. So, yeah, it's it's just weird. That whole year was weird because I kind of helped with Gray, and then it's like the 6 degrees of separation we met,
Yeah, this is how we met. And let's give this a little bit time to cook. Just a highlight from one of my previous ones.
To talk to you about this stuff is because she knows I won't talk to her, and she knows that I have a valid reason not to talk to her, because we tried being friendly like a couple years ago or whatever, right? And I did a stream, went on her stream. I thought it went pretty well, even though despite the fact that she has people like Mega Arts as mods in her chat. If anybody is on Twitter familiar with anything comics get on there, you know about him, and that's kind of sus.
You can see the just utter crestfallenness on Bob's face here, but yeah, I would kind of like to see what Dane's.
Oh, Bob is like this throughout and throughout. I mean, he's definitely like the beaten dog. Look at that.
He looked so much healthier back then.
Maybe he's just tired. Maybe
he's draining his brain. He
Fair
doesn't
enough.
think too
Fair
hard, and I
enough.
think Nerd
I'm
Rat-
sure
I keep on
he
struggling
had
with that
some
name.
more
Tristan
stuff
made
back in
him
the day.
think. Actually made
He
him
looks so
think
much
or
better than
I
he
think so
does
too.
now.
I don't think I was able to accomplish that in my talk with him, but I
No.
think she really did. It seemed like some of that really kind of sunk in.
Yeah.
Did
And
you
no
change
matter-
Gray's
name
audio, or
very
was
hard.
this audio when his
Yeah,
audio
and
was
I
on the
think
fritz?
best thing she can do if she wants to be encouraging to
This is
Bob
just one of my
and the
older
Fandom Initiative
recorded
to change.
things. I had Gray come on to see the aftermath of that particular section between these two boys. Okay.
I know my audio sounds awful. I gotta rebalance it.
Yeah, my audio sounds old. Not that it sounds perfect within nowadays, but you got to do what you can. And
My
say what
OBS
you got to.
updated and my system updated, so I gotta check it one day.
But yeah, a lot of that sort of stuff with Charles probably fueled the fire, especially since he went over to Gray. Like if you can really get into some of Gray Poupée, check out the channel. A lot of it's focused around these two boys, okay, sort of abandon it to sort of hop onto other people's streams, which fine. Doesn't
come
want to
back
give
to his
these
own
guys too much
eventually.
focus. Yeah,
You don't want your
hopefully-
channel labeled as a hate train for one person.
Yep, and they had a lot of content around that. So
Because
but
Dane
you don't.
is like my mutual enemy, the Frogget, who
Yeah. Tried to,
decides
gate
to
comedy.
do things. They will
Yeah,
respond as soon as they. And it's funny, by the way. I'm still trying to track down. Dane's gone back to editing and deleting audio from his streams, so the one with Froglet got cut out.
Sure. So they have excuses for all their stupid actions. I am.
Oh, but
sure.
I know for sure Dane doesn't like Froglet. So.
Oh yeah, he sort of talks about that in a particular stream. I'm sure there's an adversarial angle to that. So I got a couple of things from the past. Did I miss out?
It's gonna be a little hard to
The newest one?
Oh,
yeah.
Isn't the Nerdette thing where wasn't the Nerdette Bob debate thing? Like, I don't agree with Nerdette. Like, I agree more with Saggy than I do Nerdette. Nerdette always felt
It's gonna be a little hard to see. I apologize.
over the years to me, but she nailed like Bob to the wall. And like, that's not the debate where Nerdette got called a pedo defender, right?
Yeah, it's really hard to really get into the whole thing with it.
That wasn't the one. It was a period. I forget which one it was.
It's gonna be a little hard to see. I apologize. I was not taking a chance.
Sorry about that. I was looking around for something.
You're
dealing with
going
multiple
things. Transcript. Some people remember timestamps. I try to be professional and remember timestamps.
This is a very unprofessional stream tonight. Just going over things based off.
But
of
yeah,
memory.
you're going over because like there was a period. Then Dane lost it with Nerdette and both Saggy, where he tried to say, "Oh, it was around the time that I forget where Jarbo's cousin came out as he said he had feelings towards people."
Oh God, let's not get into rumor and speculation. But we got this Jewel from Nerdette here, the most recent attack from Dane for set off by what Ripper Post.
Is this
Post.
recent? Like the updated one?
This is the recent one. This
not the one
is-
from 2 years ago.
This is the one from 6 days ago. Okay. There's much better stuff out here, but this is the best to understand overall. Maybe Ray did a better job overall, but this is more comprehensive, I believe. This one here where Ray is your spirit animal and just goes off. And I'm not on the right one.
Look, I respect
his name is Eric DeBunks. He does a really good job. I think he's entertaining. I love his glasses and
she's hyping up the one buddy Eric DeBunks. I think he's weak.
Do you know
Okay, he's
do you
not
know
as
the
bad
difference?
as
He's not a horrible human being, but he is that person that would classify as an activist. Like
Yep.
he because I had to correct somebody as well, because like Eric went on Twitter and said trans kids do exist, and then he said in another place, like on Tony's stream, trans kids.
Well, they do
trans
exist,
kids.
sadly enough. Should they exist is a better question. Okay, it sounds
There's like the
weird.
idea of, and that is why Hypnotic, when he went on and talk on Tony, he says, I don't believe in transitioning children or giving puberty blockers till they're of age. And like, and
yeah, how can you know if you want to go through a puberty if you don't ever experience it? It's just maddening to me.
And that's a set not the thing. But then Eric basically withdrew that, right? And then he says, oh, I was never for that. And it's like, please, I heard you say that on Dane streams when you were on there. I've seen that on Twitter. Then Renowned also has a screenshot of an exchange where he says that's a thing.
Yeah, well, some people aren't going to stand by their. I think
Principles and
Nerdit's
word.
going into
For a
this.
while
Hold
because
on.
of personal issues. I don't think it was anything to do with the fandom initiative in general. But this is where it all began, right? Good morning, Hooded. This is where it all began. Had the conversation, found some sources that they were using by way of Noah Bertlansky, and they doubled and tripled down on this idea of destigmatizing PDF files. Destigmatizing that, right? So they can get help. I understand what you're going for. I get what you're going for. It doesn't mean I have to agree with it.
Yeah, you don't have to agree with it. I think it's a retarded argument. Even
so, there's two parts to this. This happened from a deleted stream, which I'm sure Jarbo no longer has.
No, this stream's actually still there. Okay, this stream's still there. Why hide something that people like?
This original statement from
original statement. Okay.
The original accusation that got Dane to attack Nerdette and Saggy was Matt Jarbo's like brother or cousin came out and he said he had those feelings, and he goes, he can't be around people. And Jarbo, has a kid, right? And others. And then he's like, well, I don't want him to go to the wood chipper, but I want him to seek treatment. Then Dane and Morgan and all of them were like, I don't know if you don't know really much about Morgan. They're like, Morgan is a trans person, and like they both do harm reduction.
Patrick used to make jokes about hidden.
Yeah, we used
he does
to.
that a lot with a lot of people.
He tried to accuse us of doxing him, but good luck. But no,
not us. Don't let me in. Yes,
no,
he's sort of anti-fans.
Like the others, but then that's when Dane said, yeah, we need to understand them, maybe give them meds, give them treatment, not send them to jail. Then that's when he developed the whole Dane's case against Saggy, which is now Reality, and Nerdette happened 2 years ago that Reality had to rehash recently.
Yeah, because Dane keeps on bringing it up when he has to cope about how not even his own side trusts.
Now, let me say this. I'm going to say this for the record. They get called for defending. Look, Ray presented the fact that it's a learned behavior and you literally have to take it out of the person's brain. Rehab doesn't happen. The reason why the quote-unquote wood chipper argument thing is because it's a learned behavior in a pattern that is repeated from a victim. The victim can become the abuser, then create.
Yes, it's because of brain damage and trauma. I've never heard learned behavior.
I've heard
it's either with. Trust me, I know the psychological lingo, even though I only have an AA in psychology. I can at least understand what this stuff is trying to say. The DMS 5 or whatever we're on now, they keep on changing it. But yes, literally, they don't know what causes people to be like this. The theories is they're either born retarded, so they're sort of locked in a certain age. You know, Michael Jackson stuff like that. You know,
like a child star that never grows up.
Trauma with that. Okay, so destigmatizing it. You can't cure it. You can just like sort of detain and give these people treatment so they might not act on their urges. I like the bomb collar idea over the wood chipper. You know, they get too close to a minor.
You saw Saggy's stream, right? Initially, that she still has it up on our channel where she talked to the psychological person that actually does treatment with these. And it's like, these people do exist. You might be able to help them, but you're only going to help the ones that want to change. If you have no vulnerability or shame, you're not ever going to seek treatment.
And helping is probably too big of a word. You help them stay away and deal with their sick urges. They have to come to terms with the belief that these are 6 urges within them, and this organization, at least this person Dane is advocating for in this thing, which having Nerdette critical, which I went over it earlier on stream. Nerdette Tristan did a great job of going over how sort of fucked up this person Dane it was defending back in the Bob Nerdette debate. The
other part too, and if you really, people who want to go down a rabbit hole, go look at, I mean, everyone's familiar with NAMBLA in some fashion or another, either from the South Park reference, or I remember them when one of them, someone tried to come on like Fox News years ago. It's like one of the really famous interviews O'Reilly did, like when he's at Fox News, like when he did Marilyn Manson.
Get into this.
But I want to say, though, he actually, like, if you ever want to understand how bad this ideology gets, go back and look at the interview with, like, the NAMBLA representatives. Like, he tried to talk to O'Reilly once, and it's like, age is only a number. Yeah.
Insane arguments. And that's the sort of stuff Dane is trying to use to allude that someone who disagrees with him, like Nerdette or formerly Saggy Melons of Ray, sort of disagrees with him. I should disagree harder with him. But, you know, keeping it peaceful seems to be what a lot of people do.
And you know, and all Ray did was present the evidence that was given to her by the counselor who works at a hospital that treats them.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move on.
And one thing I've noticed about Dane now and in the past, basically he thinks his arguments are the only answer. His ideas are, I mean, we could call it fascist in a way, right? But his ideas are the concrete golden answer. And that's wild to me because one of my favorite things about this channel is having conversations with people that don't agree with me or aren't like dead set.
Yeah, like also what's with this fucking insanity that someone doing pop culture shit like this has to go on about this sort of bullshit back and forth and make it a big ass fucking deal when you're in the fucking entertainment space, comic books, video games, all that shit. Why do all these heavy topics need to get brought up? And someone defending for the shit, like the person Dane tried to defend, really should even fucking come up. It's like ridiculously dumb.
See, he's friends with like Jarbo, and the thing is, Dane to me, like I think his initial stuff started out as fandom. Like it started out as fandom. But then it changed.
Happened with Bob. If you look at his old stuff, all these
and
people
it was really when his
bright-eyed,
divorce,
bushy tail.
His is a different story. The divorce broke him. He was doing movies. Then his divorce happened, and then he started switching to politics around 2016. And but like with Dane, right? Dane is a whole special case. Like, he basically went from living in Texas, which was probably a moderate conservative community, to all the way where he is now, which is in Portland, Oregon, and anything far removed from even a moderate Democrat. He's a borderline what you actually call a true progressive. And the whole thing with Dane, like I learned long ago, he says this on his stream, but he misuses it. But he uses it in the modern context a lot of Democrats do. Harm reduction. Basically, if you throw enough understanding or let a problem fester enough to understand it, like drugs, alcoholism, etc., you can fix it with understanding. But it does not acknowledge evil. He does the whole concept of harm reduction to its core. And
but it's sort of a very flawed fucking logic. Drug harm reduction is something done to themselves. People do to themselves. You need probably the most innocent demographic out there, children. That's what's at risk when you let those sort of people, when you reduce the harm and destigmatize that they aren't fucking mentally ill, because they are. By the book, they're mentally ill. They should be cordoned off and treated not quite like prisoners, but at least prisoners inside their own head. They can't control themselves. You can feel pity for them, but destigmatizing them is just wow. That's a hot take.
And the whole thing, right? It's basically, if you look at a lot of what, then once Dane convinces himself of an idea, it's
because he's autistic, okay?
Well, see, it's kind of like, okay, it's like when I've seen Mahler and Dev do the same thing. They believe they'll take one bit of evidence, research it fully, or they think they do, and then convince themselves it's reality. Like Dev believes Trump is bad because of the Eastman memo. Nothing else can ever convince him otherwise. Like with Dane, as a prime example, Dane believes something and he'll make it his own reality. And that's what I'll say on that. That's why his whole thought pattern, once you understand that's his whole thought pattern, how it works, and his ideal.
Well, let's have our audience understand his thought pattern and get into a little bit of the nerdette sort of stuff.
Yes,
I was thinking about kind of being like pretending I'm Gallagher tonight. You know, you guys know about Gallagher? Remember Gallagher?
I fucking love Gallagher.
Kind of in a Gallagher mood. I kind of just feel like I need to smash some melons.
Yeah, like what the hell is with
Saggy
this
melons.
shit? Of course.
He thought he did something there. He 100% thought he did something there. And to be fair, kind of clever.
Why would you phrase it like that?
No, not really clever. Okay,
that's not a clever way to fucking.
In fact, that's dead naming. That should be something Dane is against. Dead naming. Okay, that's the same thing with dead naming. Okay, she doesn't want to use that old name. I don't follow really that rule. I'll play with it sometimes, especially when it's ma'am. I'll use that it's ma'am meme sometime. Classic. Okay.
I mean, Ray, I have to get used to it. That's what she calls herself now. Nothing against her, but like she basically calls her like it's like when you learn a name you don't, but it's like that's not owned by Dane. That's like a personal attack, and he's trying to demean her. It's like I don't want it to be mean, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and he talks down about her channel. Okay. She's been around for a while, so have I. Not old people monetize their shit or do anything serious with their YouTube. Hell, I'm not even doing anything serious with this YouTube right now. Just trying to get ideas out there and explore what I want. I unfortunately don't have a target audience in mind, and that's how you really succeed on YouTube, okay? When you don't focus on that, don't cultivate it, it sort of falls apart, and you can cultivate an audience around anything else. Like even Dane has a They
yeah,
have an
Dane's
audience
core
who regularly
is
checks on
Dane's
them. Okay?
core is an activist core. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I've seen people there from other channels alight on his channel, like they alight on Tony's from other sides. I've seen over the years, and like the overlaps there. But like, I'll see if he gets into it later about the channel size. But like, once it's like
He already did in part. Here, listen.
That's pretty sad. Like, considering the fact that she's like all into the drama bullshit, and she's just like, you know, willing to take whatever position depending on whose fucking show she's on or whatever. Like,
All right, for one. Oh my god. Do you know?
Just to
literally
clarify,
anything
this
about
is
her?
Saggy
It doesn't
Melons
sound
he's
like
still
you know
talking about
anything
here.
about her.
she jokes she's all drama.
You can count on, as far as a YouTuber, right? Somebody that
That
makes
she
content
does,
on a
that she
monthly
does.
basis, at least, to go to and know that they're not going to sugarcoat it. If there's one person that I know that's not
Nah.
maybe taking the
Defenses for Ray. Just be like.
But here's the
she's
thing:
lame.
they're both friends. Her and Tristan are friends. But like,
Yeah, fair enough.
Ray,
You would want to
Ray
defend her.
actually joke. Ray actually does joke that her channel is about drama.
Yeah, and she does whatever. Okay, she has stupid jokes like the Bulba tea stuff. I don't get.
She actually loves Bulba tea. It's like, it's fine. Okay.
I don't know her personally. Okay, I only know these weirdos through their content. Like most people just don't mind
But like,
me
it goes
through my
along with what I'm saying. Like, and Dane takes it quite literally that she believes in drama. Like, she'll address something if she truly believes in it, but her channel is like my channel. If people watch me, I am grateful, and thank you to you all if you do. But same with Vincent.
Stop defending the much bigger YouTuber who is totally within it. Let's listen and learn. Not believe, but listen and
Veronica
learn.
Taylor in this tweet below was OG Ash, by the way. Oh,
I was hoping something good was going to come out of this. I mean, I'm sure her audience loves this sort of stuff. Oh, look.
Oh, that's from when Susan died of cancer.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I kind of
Dragon
skipped
Man
over.
said, "Oh wow, the voice of Missy and Jesse." Yes,
God bless
freaking sad. And that's Raymond's absolutely right. I only continue to call her Saggy because I'm right, and that's where I get the like.
Okay, fair enough. But she's going on off, I guess, what she does on her stream. And Xander Hall, he's also someone who's quite interested in the space.
Hasn't
Given
Xander
the
Hall
whole Kevo
kind
thing.
of hasn't Xander Hall like kind of imploded? He's not quite the beloved bread tuber that.
Oh, he's
claim
has
he
so
is.
much shit, and they trying to pin him down on Keffels. Demon Mama went after him, and some other up and coming Brett tuber called Westside Tyler. It's a complete mess. Okay.
Oh, Westside Tyler was also, by the way, funny. Westside Tyler is also a guy that Dane said he liked at one point too.
No, of course. It's like, what the hell? But he's going after.
But
all the
Westside
lefties now.
Tyler, if I'm correct, is that guy that where he's trying to be he's like, oh, I'm the ex-Marine, but I'm a liberal. Believe me.
Yeah, he's an odd one. Let's get back. Dane's talking again. Let's get back on this.
Like she's runs defense for fucking guys like you know, all the chuds in the Fandom Menace. You know, like, they're not gonna fuck her, but apparently, you know,
lies.
For one, Ray.
Lies.
I'm just gonna call her Saggy, guys. This is how it's gonna be. Okay, right now, I'm putting it out there. I'm calling her Saggy for the rest of the stream. I love.
Yeah, Saggy Melons. That's how she's known. The association with what the fuck, Tipster, which she does have. Okay.
You know what the problem it is.
You
You know what the problem it is. I had like a friend. I have a friend, right? He's basically
friend of
like
a friend.
this.
You know.
No, he's a friend of mine. I know him by one name, like his gamer tag. When I first met him, right? People usually know.
Yes. As you get to know someone, it's hard to change once once their name comes up. Okay, she's just fixating on it. She's making content. Okay, let's not judge her too much
It's
for going off
better
on
not
that
to,
tangent.
but that's the reason it works. You get that name sticks in your head, and it will never change.
Yep, that is the truth.
You can't have it both ways.
I was gonna get real low class. Was what I was thinking about doing tonight. Just like real low class, just talking mad shit.
I mean,
because
you've already started.
she pops her fucking fat head out to.
Oh my god, you guys! Okay, I'm gonna do this on my phone. We're going to write down. Where's my bubble? Okay,
I'm going to write down.
We're gonna write down all the ways he
out.
is a hypocrite. So we know he is.
Well, this is definitely enough from this particular stream here. She even did a take 2 on this just because she probably doesn't think, but long story short, the reason why both these women are talking about, one of them a minority, this progressive guy sort of is saying you're supporting all these racist bigots, blah blah blah. Typical lines from brain dead leftists who doesn't do the proper research overall, and it's just brain numbingly stupid with this particular thing here. There's many different ways you can take it, but taking it like this seems to be a little off the cuff overall. But yeah, that's the basic lowdown of him. I think I hit up the biggest thing with him, which was, well, Tristan really got into it much more than me.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't want to
she
get
did
into that
initially.
too much. The whole Bob debate, holding his feet to the fire. The funniest thing is where Bob's like, yeah, people like Mahler, you don't expect them to be at like January 6th. I'm like, Mahler's British. Why would he be January 6th? It's a slip of the line. Okay. They just want to put these people in their place.
I learned something about when we were going over like a lot of stuff with Dane. And it reminds me of something like I've heard either Eric July say or others over the years. These people want the quote-unquote dragon to slay. They have to be the heroic dragon slayer. So they always invoke a name and then go try to slay it to make themselves look better.
Yep. You fight these imaginary battles, culture wars. Some of them are real. Most of them are just
Some
bullshit.
are just stupid feuds that you just start yourself. You go and look like, say like person. It's like you go to the other. It's like, it's not that Bob has not been known on YouTube a while. Like he has a good sized channel for what his sub base is, right? Like, and they knew of him, and like I dug up some stuff on him from years ago. Like I saw a stream, and I'm like, that's the same organized chaos, right? From now,
Yep.
so different in 4 years. What the hell happened to you, my friend?
A lot of things can happen in a short amount of time. You chase the dragon's gonna chase back. Yin and yang, man. Or both the dragon who eats its own tail.
And
a whole
then
bunch of fun stuff.
And
like
then you also have the whole thing of they have like, we got to correct the chuds on YouTube. What is a chud? I don't know. And then I've heard a whole bunch of people replate that over the years. I'm just like, okay, most of the average YouTuber knows Geeks and Gamer and people are retarded people.
Yeah, they typically are. Sometimes they have a little bit of grain of truth to their particular
a broken clock is right twice
But one day you might see his type pen. He might just be done after working on it for a decade.
I'm trying to meet
intelligence
this,
as well. Just the fact that he's like coming to our comment section and stuff. And well, so
also this is how
you don't have the video up, by the way.
I know. I'm not trying to get the video up. I'm like, I wanted to mute it before I wanted to go into some of Gray's sort of stuff. Okay. Because that gives us a sort of a look at sort of Dane's. Because Gray, within a certain time spirit, Actual Fandom threatens to kill some guy. This one was brilliant. Okay.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
I call that. That's so good. I can find you the better video on that. That's from a reverse sculpt. It's funny.
Yep, you might have been the A-logger of Dane that got this one through. Okay.
I wasn't the only one. There's a couple. It happened around the same time.
Yeah, you are. Oh yeah,
Okay.
here we get into this. Here we get into this beautiful bean footage here. Okay, coming up.
And then if they took that as, you know, some sort of racism,
right?
Would they be mistaken? Because in this one, I don't think he meant it as homophobia. Yeah, exactly. Kind of like that famous ice cream flavor, you know, from Ben and Jerry's that everyone loves, and that it's not that one. It's not fish food, but you know, it's Dane's favorite flavor for sure. But you know, he thought that it would be ridiculous.
Dane's favorite flavor, fruitcake. Beautiful to know about. Hard to deal with.
Okay, here's the thing. In Dane's mind, as well as like Eric's mind, I mean, as Eric debugs, he basically says when you call, like, I was listening to like some old like Dean Martin stuff. They called someone a fruit, and that's like a way for being weird. So like they view the term fruit now as you calling someone gay, or it's a slur for a gay person.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's listen to some of this.
How this evolves.
What are you talking about? Fucking old fucking bitch, shut up. Trying to have a good time here, Nathaniel. We're trying to be shit. No, I mean, I won't talk shit to your face because you're on the internet. That's the only reason you're talking shit, you fucking garbage person. Pull up, homeboy. Fucking tiny dick motherfucker. I will talk all this shit.
Wait, wasn't that his Ben Shapiro impression? Yeah, it's kind of weird how we can judge penis size by you know, one statement online. I guess this would be two statements online.
We gotta read this guy's comments too.
Yeah, these two are rather good with just mocking the sort of insanity that Dane does. Okay, but you know, I don't want to give him too much.
Okay, by the way, size jokes are usually the go-to. It's like I've heard it online. If you want to make someone fun of somebody first, right? You always think, "Why do you always talk about how someone looks?" Like,
yeah,
it's like in middle
when they
school,
don't show themselves. Okay, these two.
It's kind of like it's like grade school level crap, right? Oh, you look fat. And you can all think in school grade. We go for the obvious ad hominem attacks, right? You have been around the internet long enough. The first, like, it's the go-to. Oh, you're probably short. We go to generalize statements, right? It's what we do. And it's like, so like Dane, like, I thought it was funny he goes to size stuff first versus, oh, I bet you're ugly and you're an incel in a basement. Okay.
We know what Dane looks like. Okay. He has some better days, but even at his best, I don't think it's anything to write home about.
No, but seriously, like, it's so funny too. We used to have a joke back then. We go, why does Dane go to everything on the crotch view? We're like, ugh.
Okay,
because he's the one. Too much on this I'm not going to go too much. It's funny though. This gets better.
It can be funny. These guys handle it much better.
It wasn't a full on bitch. It was. He kind of said it under his breath. Definitely not towards the mic, but yeah. Let's see him talk his smack, if you will. What's the best you got, Dane?
Shit, all day long. I will fuck your mother. I will fuck your sister. I'll fuck your father too because he wants to. All right. I will talk so much shit that you'll have shit coming out of your fucking grandfather's fucking urn. Okay. Like you are fucking insecure.
Oh my god!
Wow. So previously you kind of mentioned that he seemed like that kid on the yeah. Apparently because he wants it. I don't know if your mother or sister wanted it. That part was unclear.
His dad wants it.
But he's gonna fuck your entire family, and then he's gonna talk so much shit that it'll be coming out of your grandfather's urn, whether or not.
I gotta admire Dane for his attempt. He's sort of on the wrong side of all that shit. Look, LG mentions Dane. Strikes me as a kid on the playground where you got teased, beat up, all sorts of stuff like that. Has to automatically go to all that crap.
The whole funny part about this is we had an internal joke. Like the other part of it is we go, so why did the dad have to ask for consent and ask for more?
Yeah, I don't know much to say about that. Okay, I'm answer. There's some things that I might have to disavow. I don't know if
you would have to disavow it, and I don't blame you.
I don't know. Okay, yeah, some things. Okay, micro edit. Yeah, a
apparently
little more of
I
them.
don't know.
only someone like that would be. Yeah, I think that is why he could spot this right away. Perhaps he is familiar
Makes
with
sense.
that.
Maybe he is. Maybe
But
he
anyway,
is.
he didn't stop there.
Yeah, this is why this video is titled how it is.
Somebody criticizing their fucking much larger content creators, right? Like the fucking the fact that you have to defend these much larger content creators tells me everything I need to know about how fragile they are, how fragile you are, and how fucking fragile and weak and worthless your fucking beliefs are.
Anything that you
by
say
the
tells me
way.
how fragile the thing that you said it about really is. It's just such a weird line of reasoning that he's going down. You know,
Yeah, the whole defense thing. You're
Oh,
getting
by
all
the way,
defensive about all this crap.
because you defend an ideal, you must be, because you don't bash Eric July or X Creator, you must support them.
Yes, you have to be just a simp for them, a stand. Okay. I don't care for any of the people I cover. Either way, okay. Same thing when I go on the defense, okay. Don't assume I just hate someone because I'm criticizing them, or I like them just because I'm defending them from insane accusations. That's just brain dead logic that anyone can make, which has really very little bearing on reality half the time. It's hard
So
to
you're
tell.
telling me,
Context matters.
of the logic of when you watch someone that you basically, to watch someone on YouTube even for 5 minutes or semi-agree with them is you must be a cultist for them, even though that's your first video you've ever watched of theirs?
Absolutely, that must be the rule of thumb. You can agree with you agree with one thing someone says or disagree with one thing says. You're just automatically a simp or stand for them.
Oh yeah, and that's why I
Yeah.
have the phrase. This is why I have the phrase: "A broken clock is right twice a day." I might not agree with Nerdette and some of her actions over the years, but she does make points. A broken clock is right twice a day.
I think you hate a little bit too much on Nerdette, okay? She probably
No.
defends her friends too much, is most people's faults on the internet. Okay.
I disagree with
In
some
this,
of her
this is
allies.
just Gray and Pat going over this one instance, which might have actually been clipped by you. Okay, you darn dirty A-logger of these clown people here. Let's
You know,
listen to this.
one of the reasons, like one of the things that I thought
He
whenever I
does
was
not understand the paper comments.
started doing YouTube was that I would embrace kind of talking shit in the way that chuds don't expect from, you know, SJWs, right? Like they're
It did.
It's exactly what we expect.
they have expectations, and I think of course
You
But
fulfilled
right
them.
there.
expect from
So our episode, I think it was like 2 episodes ago, we kind of went over the social justice warrior. Again, I kind of thought that was fading. I thought a lot of people weren't adopting that. It appears he self-applies that label to himself
I
right
thought
here,
whenever
though.
I was
I just wanted to back it up a second.
started doing YouTube was that I would embrace kind of talking shit in the way that chuds don't expect from, you know, SJWs, right? Like they're
So I'm not sure
they
that
have
he fully
expectations.
embraces that.
And I think,
but
of course, now in
he's
the
saying
last
that
few
he
years,
would be
some of those
considered one.
expectations for
But
what the left is or
that
whatever
is-
have been dashed.
We
You know,
did
with people like
talk about
Bosch
that
and,
last
you know,
week, no?
all manner of people who have
I think
represented
so.
progressive positions and ideas and
Anything we talk
whatnot,
about, he talks about.
inclusivity without being fragile
Yeah.
snowflakes or whatever. But yeah,
So he's not fragile.
No.
You know, he talked.
Totally not fragile, guys. Okay, totally not bringing up the past and omitting
I have
context
said
from
I have
previous
said something
instances.
about Dane, and for a while, and I've repeated this a lot about certain people online, and I noticed the same trend in Tony as well. These people would not have survived the commentary community 08 to about 2015.
So I'm saying, in a lot of ways, the commentary community now is way more rough, but
It's rough.
I think we're just coming back around. But they had more blood sports back then. Blood
like
sports has a certain
Dane. I was
optical
kind of
risk with
also
it.
thinking too. I would love to see Dane in the COD lobby when he gets called the N-word to see how far he snaps. And instead of playing the game, he lectures the guy on how he's racist for 5 minutes over the mic.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's get back into this. I'm pretty sure I saw something.
The best he can do. He's hiding in the closet. Not that he's, you know, not that I think he's gay, but he lives in a closet. And like Harry
Yeah, it
Potter,
was more of
except
a
less
Harry
cool.
Potter type reference. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But he,
But there is could be no puny god scene for him. Like his Hulk, it will not. You know, if this really stuck in his craw. So I believe we're going to the next day, or excuse me, like a week later now. So let's go to the future.
I feel like you probably have, right?
It's a future body.
That was it. So, yeah.
Oh, excuse me, we're not quite there yet.
I also
Yes,
really,
Greg.
I said something
Why
so
do I
absurd that I don't think it can
be
be a
annoyed
threat.
by you even here?
You know what I mean?
Oh, it
what I
can't
said,
be
like,
a
like,
threat.
like,
It cannot possibly be a
really do
threat.
that. That's what you should have said. You're
Is there
not
what's
even
the
strong enough
rules,
to rip
man?
my head off.
What's the rules? Do you know the rules?
The rules are
for
you
threats?
cannot make a threat to unalive somebody. I know that's part of the rules. And he definitely
Maybe
said,
you're right.
if we meet up in
Maybe
real
you're right.
life, I will
I'll
remove your
remove
head.
your head.
He didn't say, I will use my noodle arms to pull your head off. And then
Yeah.
you could know, hey, okay, he's obviously too weak to do that. But it kind of implies, you know, he might use a tool or something.
Yeah.
You know, I would not necessarily take that threat lightly if somebody said that to me. But, you know, this isn't exactly like,
Smear some,
I don't know, the...
smear some ketchup and barbecue sauce on it. You can have DJ or Eric. Bite your fucking head
Okay,
off.
these guys play pretty well off of Dane's constant buffoonery. I'm sure if someone was doing this nowadays that they could catch audience, but
Well, see,
why
Patrick, I'm
milk?
not going to go into his whole life, but he's going to be coming back to. We'll do something eventually, but he had a job change basically and other life changes, so that's why he disappeared from the internet a little bit. And he's going to be coming back around eventually. But
yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of spurgs all around. Like there's
look,
this whole thing
Patrick
with
is funny. You got to admit it.
yeah, Patrick's got some good jokes, a little bit weird, a little bit off the wall. And yeah, these spurgs come along. Like recently, some people prodded Creetosis and he's acting like this little old bitch. You got Tony always sort of coping and sieving, trying to go with low-hanging fruit. He thinks Surges and some people and LG are like low-hanging fruit, and he's just going to hang on to that along with Eric July, which think what you want about the particular man. It has issues here and there, all around. No one's perfect. You got to figure out how to best make your way into the world.
Why do you constantly hate on one man? Like, I don't get it. It's so weird. Like, I make fun of people sometimes, like, as a stick, like maybe a stand-up thing or just personal humor. Like, I get, right? Like, but the whole thing with, like, Dane's reignited, like, old wounds. Like, the whole, like...
Yeah.
It's like...
Cope, I call it, okay? With Nerd Ed and Ray. That definitely seems like cope.
2 years. Like, you could just... For the most part, right? It's like I had that... I was talking with someone this morning. And he basically... I said to him, it's like, give the internet, like, 2 to 3 days... They'll forget about your drama. Don't do anything stupid, like just because somebody else is going to do something dumb and override your drama. It's like hold my beer, right? You know, someone else does something stupid. But like, there's also the whole way of Dane had this whole problem. Like he goes, I'm not fragile, but I'm going to lean into this drama further to milk it and re-clarify myself. It's like, okay, you're a true believer in your cause, right? You believe in conspiracy theories. That's fine. You do you, my friend. But, man, don't double down on the craziness, dude, you know? Like,
yeah, own up your own shit. Stop shifting the goalpost and move into other things with that. I mean, there's only so much I think I can say about Dane on this time around. I think the Thinkers handled it quite well. The Thinkers handled it quite well when they covered this. I mean, a mixture of comedy and self-awareness. Going back down this, let's finish the Dane section out with a group of people who are quite interesting overall.
Through this drama, sir. But sorry about that.
Okay. TLDR, that's incredible. So I guess like a soft apology to people that were bringing up the Fandom Initiative like the last couple of weeks or whatever, because it like
comments, yeah.
to me it felt out of nowhere because I seriously just
To me too.
I don't care to to be quite frank, I'm not up with any of that. I didn't like the things that were happening in there when I was in there. Why would I even remotely be interested in anything happening there now that I'm gone? But evidently, my spirit lives on over there.
Yes, this man was a member of their group, and he just sort of saw the light and started hanging out with Gray and other people who
He
weren't.
was a little bit of Charles's. Like, he was friends with Bob before or about he was friends with Dane. And then he was basically brought into the TFI as the movie box guy. Like, oh, you know movies.
Along with a bit of comedy, yeah.
It's like, oh, he's your one guy for whatever reason.
That's because none of the other ones. What it was, organized chaos Bob, just a diehard comic book sort of guy.
He was like a movie reviewer for the longest time. Even like Dane used to have
just a political angle.
Dane used to be like a comic book guy that would explain it from a left perspective. But he was heavily inspired by like Amazing Atheists back in the day and Vosh,
which is amazing and no self-awareness. Okay. As my video comes around, asking for Vosh and Xander Hall and people like Demon Mama and Illuminati and all these freaking bread tubers to go up against these cultural critics that they probably talk shit about all the time, but that's not their main focus.
Vosh literally has like horrible cultural takes. When it comes to
even his
Marvel
fans, you can see people arguing about. You'll see his fans be like, "Yeah, he has some horrible takes about media." Okay,
man, the guy knows politics in his section, but the man knows jack shit about Marvel.
Yep. It's a
but
whole
like,
bunch of
and
crap.
the whole thing is, you're as good as your like probably borderline inspiration that either brought you into YouTube or something. Like, and Dane's was an Amazing Atheist. Like, it's like pure cringe. Like, and he watched Vosh. Like, there was periods early on. He had like the early man bun. He looked like Vosh, and I'm like, oh God, like.
Yeah, once you go Vosh, you never go back.
You don't.
Get on that
It's
lolly
like,
hill train. Okay,
apparently,
defending some crazy stuff and trying to retrospectively use it against other people who point out how fucking insane some of your past is.
See, it came from
how do normal people who get involved with it keep on getting pulled back in? It's like the Pacinoism. You keep going back in, blah blah blah, getting pulled back into this
it's
crap.
kind of like it's kind of when you look at online, right? That's why generally, if I don't like to get a baseline of someone I'll talk to on YouTube, like, or in yes indeed, but like people in their orbiters, right? I'll ask people like, where did you start? Because usually where you start on YouTube determines where you'll drift. Like, used to be the case. Like with Dane, he started off and self-radicalized based upon like his bread tube days that like radicalized him online. And he went like, and to say like around this time, right? Because I was told by Alpha Eagle and some others, like Alpha Eagle's the one that told me a long time ago. He said he had someone send him a picture with Dane. By the way, he dead named and doxed Alpha Eagle at some point too, not long ago, by the way. He had a copy of the Antifa manual in the background on his bookshelf at one point. So, does that tell you about how Dane functions?
I don't know how he functions. I question sometimes, but I don't know him personally.
Antifa book in your background.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are fine. What rules for radical?
No, that was the Andy. No, it was the book that inspired Antifa.
Okay. Well, let's listen a little bit more. There is a point. I'm going to make a bridge here and maybe finish up. don't want to spend too long on this. It's just a basic blast from the past along meeting it up with what we have now and small spaces in the very least.
And not
You know,
just
they like to beat
Ghost
dead
of
horses
floating
over there.
Oh, yeah,
over
yeah.
there.
yeah. If zombies were a thing, they'd have zombie horses.
No, no,
and
no, no.
beat
It's
them to
just the ghost of your hat that is just floating over there.
death. But like some of it I can deal with, but it's just by happenstance that Nerdette's newsstand was covering something that Dane had gotten into something with somebody else. Can you believe it? Dane doing something scandalous. And
that doesn't sound like him at all.
no.
Hmm.
Did he take a very level-headed approach to it?
Yes, of course. The absolute
Okay.
best faith. So I checked in on that because I'm not used to having that face in my timeline. And it certainly gave me a shiver for a second. Like, what? I
Seeing
don't
him
need to
come
see that in
back
my
with bad
subscription
faith
feed, but it
arguments.
turned out it was a different channel.
And stupid little crap out there is completely just funny out there. And seeing, he did some dirty shit with Charles here. Doxed him, I hear. Don't know how bad that was. Even though who even knows if they doxed his right location. Charles likes to move around. Okay, not Keffel style, but definitely nice to get around if you know anything about the man.
Right. I just refuse to talk about it. It doesn't mean that I was saying anything that they were saying was right. I just wasn't interested in discussing it anymore. And in no way was I saying that they were being honest with what they were saying, nor was I saying that what was happening over there was 100% on the up and up. And I guess Dane took that as, yeah, I'm right. And by I'm saying him, and has kind of like doubled down on things in the recent past, in the last month or two. And
yeah, he's got a well that he keeps going back to. I mean, like, look at the.
Yep. Keeps on going back. Keeps on not moving forward. There's some weird
Charles
moves
took a
being
medical
made by them.
leave. Charles took like a medical leave from the TFI. He didn't show up on streams because he was having like back surgery, other things. Like I would pop over to his streams before he turned on Dane, and damn, I'd say that. And he would actually talk to people, and like then he had the whole thing with his personal stuff where he's moving around from country to country, trying to get that settled. And then when he tried to come back, like he realized what the TFI had become. It wasn't what started. It wasn't what started.
Yep. He learned, come back and try to see it with the new light and be like, this isn't for me. Dane's gone completely off the hook. Okay.
Then Bob.
As I said, that whole Nerdette Bob sort of thing. Have videos about that. You can watch.
And then Bob basically threw him underneath the bus and then sided with Dane.
Yeah, he totally just isn't totally a puppet of Dane. I just spelled that last time around. In my last set of videos, totally not a total puppet.
Referencing a lot of stuff that's just kind of been ongoing drama, kind of back and forth, and him essentially being hypocritical, and that it seems like he would be a bad person and these would be against his standards. But he uses this video to kind of answer that, I have no standards. So, So he does have a win in this, if you will, that it turns out that these aren't against his standards. He just doesn't have any. You see, he doesn't care about these issues.
Oh, that's convenient.
So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's the important thing to take away from that. Dane will throw away standards when it doesn't suit him. Okay, he's just not going to get anywhere big. Too much dirt. He should just give up and start anew. Not that he can get away with it, with how things are. Trying to start anew.
Even if you go back to like the Adam and Stitch debate where he tried to say...
Hold on 1 minute. Let's have the beautiful, sultry voice of Gray sort of go over this real quick.
Ex-EFAP members to try and attack EFAP. Essentially using Rags and Mahler's faces and actual names on like every one of their thumbnails, a whole bunch of stuff like that, somebody who seems to attack others for anything that could be perceived over the line probably should have a standard of their own. And it seems like this dude's just pointing out this guy doesn't. But I don't know. Does that kind of describe the video, Charles? Or
it's pretty close to the
seems about right, even though they're not showing it. They do have a collection put together for this, but you can watch this particular episode, Stinker 65, if you want to dive more into this particular matter here. Okay, bringing this up now. Enough shit talking shitty people.
So basically, right, a lot of it is Charles started checking out the people Dane was criticizing and realizing they're not that way. Like,
yeah, that is the general sentiment that I got from that whole back and forth. Okay.
and I've talked to Charles behind like the veiled screen, you know what I mean? Like, I won't reveal what's like said, but I clarified it. I'm like, oh,
I have to clarify this. It's no bad tactics, only bad targets.
yes. And see, the thing is, when Dane argues or debates, like he goes, "Oh, I could debate people and beat people." People have sent him emails over the last year. I want to debate you, Dane, and but he wants the questions that's going to get asked, so he can prepare answers for them. And that's loaded. Or it's kind of like, you look like you're emotional, so you're losing. Debate me, bro tactics to its core, and the reason why we hate.
Yeah, can't really get into anything too deep. Okay.
Nah, not
going to. Yes. Okay, but yeah, staying on this particular train is a little bit tough. There is a couple of things I wanted to cover this stream. I think the Dane shit is out. Okay. There is a certain thing that's been popping off recently that I'll probably end with some context behind, at least to begin. I need to put out this whole video in a proper video. But you might want to step out for this. Let's see your particular thoughts here. We can come back to the Dane stuff if anyone wants to bring it up. And wow, I have no clue if my comment was purged from here or if I forgot to make it. But I remember it is the sort of thing here. And this is quite funny to me in particular here. So as I said,
I do want to say this though. I do want to say on the whole thing, like with Saggy, like, oh God, Ray, but Ray said on her stream, like, I agree with her. I have heard more about PDF and maps this year than I have heard in many years. That's all been across YouTube. And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, put the maps against the wall. The old Nick Rekieta thing where he took heat from. And now he's a disaster now.
Basically, why has all of this, I say this nicely, become a topic every person will in social media to talk about, or YouTube? This person's this person's breathing. And I'm like, do you have proof? Then don't say it. I don't care. It's disgusting. Let the people do it. And the whole explosion in, I baited this guy, and they go punch and beat the guy up in public like vigilantism. That's the whole thing. That was Ray's point that got Dane irritated. It's been all over. I just ignore it and remove it from my search or my stuff. I don't click on it. Like, you know what I mean, Vincent?
Yeah, they try to force people to certain sides, okay, with these fucking little dirty ass tactics. Badass tactics off the rails within the things. Okay, let's actually get into this sort of a side tangent because I at least want to touch upon it. And I can bounce this point off a little bit interestingly to get us back to Tony. Funny enough, but let's just put this on and see what we think just front facing. This is what Side Scrollers is giving audience
Second
about.
Wind. And Second Wind is a just as a background, They started off as escapists. Apparently, they all either quit and or got fired in some way along the way, and they started up Second Wind. And Second Wind launched a Patreon. It was massively successful, spearheaded by, really headlined by a content creator named Yahtzee, who's been around for a long time, right? And Yahtzee he was on Escapist for a long time, obviously now a Second Wind. He's a dude who I think draws the bulk of their audience along the way. But there was a lot of back and forth about this company over the last month or so, last couple months. And we had Nick Calandra on when they first launched Second Wind to talk about the launch and leaving Escapist and everything. Literally, I think the first day that he was on, that they launched. And over the course since then, last several months, we've had several back and forths with him. We had him on the show not too long ago, and I invited him on. Whenever we have a guest on that's on the other side or deemed as the.
What about Yahtzee here?
Is this recent? Stuttering Cred?
Yeah, this is recent. Nick Calandra exposed.
Is this the one?
They're going to go over the video.
Yeah, like Yahtzee. How long has it been since that whole tweet with Yahtzee leaving Escapist and Escapist?
That's been 7-8 months now. Okay, it's the pressure's on Nick now.
Other side, I very much welcome those conversations. I encourage having conversations with people that don't see eye to eye, so you can get out of your bubble, right? And I think that's not just us getting out of our bubble, but them getting out of their bubble as well. I open those conversations. I'm very open to those conversations. I very much enjoy those conversations, and I think they're important. And when we had Nick on, I thought it was really important to have that conversation publicly and not privately, so we could actually serve as an example to show people that those conversations can actually be had. And be treated, those conversations can be had cordially and respectfully without resulting into, bullshit, shit slinging, right? And on top of that, I think there's also a lot that gets lost in translation when it comes to just having those conversations via DM or text, right? You can hear people's,
Wop, wop, wop. Okay, this is how this goes. I had a marker here, but I don't know what happened to it.
So I do agree with, Stuttering Craig, like, Arch and Arch and Razor Fist, right? Both call Arch calls him the little relic of the internet nugget from the past. So, like that being him being the little nugget from there, because he actually took a break from the internet. He didn't, and then he came back to the SJWs, burning down like everywhere, and it's like, well, we want civility. Well, good luck.
Yeah, this is complete, utter insanity. But yeah, main story.
He's like a normie. I'll say this. Arch refers to him as the normie he talks to about every 2 weeks, where he like fits it in because Arch is usually busy, and he does the thing. He's on that stream, and then Razor Fist is on like the other sometimes, like. He has this really like normie centrist or like down to earth take where he would rather have a conversation. I would rather have the conversation with someone.
Yes, and he also is rather weird with a lot of the stuff. He's leading way too far into this particular stuff here. At least in my personal opinion.
He's getting the crash course. He's getting to the crash course.
I'm not saying Nick did this 10 years ago, but the way I'm saying this goes back to a decade ago with the original Gamergate and now Gamergate 2. The original idea behind Gamergate was that it was built around journalistic integrity, right? And then that got shifted by said journalist to no, it's a harassment campaign. And I've said many, many times on the show that when the first Gamergate was happening, it was just kind of this thing that was going on in the background. I honestly was not concerned with what was going on. I just heard the phrase Gamergate. But as I've learned more about it over the last year or 2 years, the picture has become considerably more clear as to what happened. And we've seen.
Yes, it has. Why don't you listen to some of the people, Stuttering Craig in reality, who actually had involvement in it? The closest he's got is Dev, okay?
This happened. We've seen the response from video game journalists.
Dev still gets really close to standing people like Brianna Wu, who was like the third wheel of the women of Gamergate. And she's coming out a little bit hotter.
No, but Dev, it's like he's talked to Sargon, like He's talked to Sargon. He's talked to Arch. Arch was around in Gamergate. He hasn't quite talked to V. He's had, I think,
None of these people are involved. Sargon's about the only one who was involved with the original Gamergate. I don't think
Arch
V was. Okay.
V was too.
Okay. I have not heard about their exposure into Gamergate.
He didn't have the blowout that Sargon had with, like, you know, Anita. Like, but Sargon was more the, like, Sargon's like still the enemy up there, but it's like, it's weird, like how, I don't know, I heard EVS reference Mr. Mediker was the head of Gamergate, anti-Gamergate.
Yeah, he definitely was the spearhead of Gamergate before he got opted out because of people like Sargon and other people who seem to have been more concerned with using Gamergate to sort of boost their profile. Okay. And for this particular thing, before we're going in, as for the other Frost video, I went over it. I was tempted to go over it on a stream or video, but basically he makes a whole bunch of claims, tries to show a whole bunch of evidence on screen, which I don't think really supports what he's saying in his video. It's like really weak, off to the off. They're going to go over it, but let me give a little bit of context before we go in. So we have this particular video TheOtherFrost put out, got retweeted by someone within the Spear. And here is the tweet I want to bring up here. Here's the guy that Frost quoted from, and he even hid his name, Kurt, from it. So he retweets it. Okay, weird to find out over the last week, Frost here with this Nick guy, thinks he's my arch nemesis on something. No, he just doesn't like you. Why does he not like you? What is he even mad about? Okay. Yep, Salam, the guy who was doing the Zoob game that got on the Sweet Baby Inc. list, talk all the time. He asks for advice, who to talk to and what to do. Kurt is a fucking coward, the guy here. He made a whole big stink about Hogwarts Legacy guy. This guy, Troy Leviant. Okay? And how he was going to be the next big grifter and nothing came from it. Sent too much shit to Troy. Basically the guy who was heading up the Hogwarts Legacy stuff and sort of got a whole bunch of shit on him. So let me put it here. And he even pretty much brought up that, I don't have the clip in front of me, but beautiful stuff. This guy here, okay.
To you by, well, you.
Who side scrollers didn't cover when this guy was getting attacked by all those activists, okay? Because of his involvement in Hogwarts Legacy. Okay. Simple as that. Lovely as that. Let me get back to this particular place here. They go over this Frost video. And they only cover a small section, which is fine enough.
And asking the hard questions, having before ambushed people he was interviewing with uncomfortable questions the interviewee asked to be withheld beforehand. Nick trades good press coverage and holds back criticism in exchange for paid documentaries, trips.
See, like this whole video, there's a whole bunch of stuff up here. If you really look into it, he's basically talking. He got a 4,000 boost for his first little big project, game documentaries, small documentaries for video games. And he's talking about the investor is a subjective matter, but marketing at this point, he's trying to hit him with all this particular lines that don't seem to connect to his point. He did disclose investor near the end. This is actually proof that he did disclose the investor during this. This whole video, TheOtherFrost video, is horrible. Let's see how these guys handle it. What
Gear and job opportunities. A lot of his connections stem from his gamementary days.
Okay, I really want to back that up really quick. This is a very, if you're a video game journalist, you cannot do this.
Withheld before.
Calling the Warhorse guy alt-right views is a little bit of an over-exaggeration too. His whole thing was that, look, I just don't want there being anything.
Yeah, I like Mark the Cyborg here. Okay, they keep on not focusing on the fact that this other Frost guy is criticizing Nick for and saying, "Oh, he's just not being critical against what is it called? What was that game? Deliverance, Kingdom Come, against the criticisms of the SJWs, pretty much saying there's not enough diversity. This is all right crap." Okay, and Nick, the other Frost who's doing this video, is basically going along with that narrative. Makes the claim, Nick, just this whole video, he does not support most of what he says in this video. So it's almost a waste. I'll be like, yeah, this doesn't support this. This doesn't support this. This maybe could support this, but them going over this video is quite funny. And I'm using this Craig sort of quote to sort of bounce into something else with Frog Tony. So bear with me for a moment.
About white people in this game about Croatia during the Holy Roman Empire. There just wouldn't be any. I'm sorry, I wanted to be authentic, and people called him racist for that. So
right, and that's the one thing that you've seen continuously over and over again is the idea.
And Nick is sort of being like, I'm not dealing with this. I'll hear anyone out. Okay. And of course, TheOtherFrost assumes he was just beat because he was trying to keep connections, which he does not prove in his video. TheOtherFrost video does not prove anything, and use some bad people as a source.
Idea of like people say, oh, it's a alt-right podcast. Like, yes, we have conversations. That's what we do. And apparently having conversations and asking questions is alt-right today. So there we go. But yes, so let's continue. But once again, if you're a journalist, you cannot allow this.
Nick trades good press coverage and holds back criticism in exchange for paid documentaries.
You're holding.
I apologize.
You cannot hold back criticism for paid anything, right? As soon as you do that, your credibility is gone, especially 100%. With your audience, right? Let's continue.
Trips, gear, and job opportunities, and a lot of his connections stem from his gamementary days. His staff at the time was not pleased when they found out. This recontextualized one of Nick's patterns of behavior. A lot of Nick's personal tastes and biases that he pushed on his staff for coverage or restricted them from criticizing led back to his PR connections. He was making deals behind the scenes without them knowing. I even found one where he threw in a positive review to sweeten the deal. All for flights, gifts, job favors, documents.
See, TheOtherFrost says all this stuff, but he has absolutely no evidence. I cannot disclose the games because it would put writers at risk. As something, a game, an outlet would only have one or two proving coverage. So he uses the defense. I don't want people to be harassed, so I'm not going to show this evidence I found on Nick. Just trust me, bro. Okay.
Documentary opportunities, none disclosed.
Now, I do think that in this situation, he says, I will not disclose the games because it could be put the writers at risk. It's sometimes the games at the outlet would only have one or two providing coverage, making it easy to know who divulged information, right? Like if those things are being traded though by these developers, like that absolutely should be called out because it's a two-way street when it comes to this stuff. This is not just a journalism problem. This is a industry-wide problem.
I agree, and if he proved it, I could definitely condemn Nick for it. If I got proof, you have a clear bias. For TheOtherFrost has a clear bias, which goes against other people on this second win team who came out mostly in solidarity of Nick. I don't know what to believe or not. Okay, I don't just listen and believe. I need evidence if you want me to change your perspective. This video, yeah, if everything TheOtherFrost is making isn't exaggerated, which it seems like it is, doesn't really matter to me in the end.
Along the way. So let's continue.
That made us look at his odd social media addiction in a different light. I also thought Nick flew off the handle, but something was off. Nick had already been made aware of his problem and vowed to be better back when he was tricked into publishing false evidence. He behaved himself, sort of, and was a bit more vague and defensive. Then he went on the attack almost out of nowhere until he embarrassed himself on a podcast, which I warned him about. He claims he stopped because he was...
Okay, so he references us in this situation. This is
yes, he was referencing you guys, okay? And he wants to keep all this. It should be fine.
Conversation that I had with Nick publicly, where I just said, like, hey man, let's just come on the show and talk about it. And he says, how about you talk? I actually didn't even see this. He says, how about you two talk about it like adults in DMs and leave it at that? Should be fine if this is all about communication and clarity and not content, right? And I referenced this before, but this is for me, it was about setting an example that these conversations can be had publicly and civilly. And when you do that privately, you know, I think that there's a lot that can be lost in translation along the way. So for me, doing it publicly actually was very key to the conversation. But that's just me.
Was threatened with termination, but that came after the fact that his apparent Lady Fair had sided with his arch nemesis, who once again pretended to not know that Nick existed.
Yep, this is the person I showed you the tweets of earlier. Okay, like him, dislike him. You really don't need to go on these podcasts and debate these clowns, referring to them like they're homophobic and protecting his identity, even though you can go check the tweets and find out who this guy is and what someone who on the left obviously trying to push centrist gets fucked by both sides. Okay. And why Stuttering Craig, I think, is one of the best at staying centrist on the anti-woke side, or at least somewhat moderate. He still has some gaps here and there, which I'll highlight in a bit before we get on to the fun sort of Tony Stuttering Craig point that I sort of want to lap over with.
So that's pretty much where he talked about this. And this is also the response that we saw a lot, or we saw from people who says, you really don't need to go on these podcasts and debate these clowns. And I want to be really clear. At no point during that was there a debate. There was no point scored. Nobody's over there trying to humiliate anybody. There's a difference between having a conversation and having a debate. I am not a debater. I do not know how to debate. I know how to discuss things, And do I do it well? Not all the time, right? But I am open to having those discussions. So the idea of having a debate with people is really asinine. I say that for Mark and Jeff when it comes to console exclusivity. I'll let them do that, right?
I'm a master debater.
That's right. You sure are.
I'm a cunning linguist.
That's right. You are. You guys are both wonderful when it comes to that. But as pointed out by Grums over on X, and I think this is very important. Like these accusations, just taking a step back of like the idea of trading coverage for certain things as a journalist. This is like the entire reason, from my understanding, why Gamergate started at all. And Mark, you were there. You were a part of it. Like, tell me if I'm wrong. Or if Grums is wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean the Gamergate started because there was a big question in ethics and games journalism. The problem I think with it was because it revolved around a girl being promiscuous, people who are anti the message that was important being the ethic.
All this is true enough overall in generality, okay? Let me just sort of highlight, because Stuttering Craig, quite interesting. Yeah, he brings up this Grum sort of a quote, which I find very interesting overall. Even retweets it. Pay attention to which media outlets cover this and which don't. So he retweets him, and I found this one interesting. We still need to hear from any of the SWG. I'm guessing that's supposed to be Second Wind ground crew in response. It's probably what people are waiting for. Frost may be telling the truth, and his support of Nick and the turnabout are enough to give pause before signaling into the allegations. Oh, yeah. The WG crew has responded, so pay attention to his side scrollers or anyone else is talking about this story. Will they cover that response? And for Stuttering Craig, at least not, he definitely has not retweeted the response that the crew gave out there. I find that a little bit one-sided, okay, to go with Grums, especially when Stuttering Craig let him to come on and just rant about how Nick doxed him earlier on.
Ethics in journalism and coverage not being something that's able to be bought, even with just favors and exclusive deals and things like that. But I think because it became a women's issue, a lot of it got obfuscated and confused, and it made it really difficult for the people trying to argue the actual point to make points that stuck and were just, yeah, but you're just misogynist. It was a weird time to be talking about game stuff. I'll say that much.
Yep, weird times. How to apply to Nick, who is actually seemed rather neutral during Gamersgate when you look at Frost's video. He didn't want to be critical when his SJWs wanted to say, yeah, you had to be critical in this documentary. Just the obfuscation going on. Quite interesting.
For a little bit of moolah along the
You
way.
can give it a 6, right? 6 is the thing that makes it not rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. So
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And what are we
doesn't
going
need
to do
the
to get
3 that it probably deserves.
So they highlight just a small section and trying to make it connect to a greater point with this. Okay. And it's all about the fact that they got mentioned, and this is why Stuttering Craig thought he should cover this. But he covers no more of the video, doesn't go over it critically and see how lacking of evidence that it sort of comes across as to anyone who watches the video. I think he doesn't have the evidence. He should have to support sources. But that's besides the point here that I don't want to get into. But I did find something very interesting within all this stuff. Frog Tony had a quite an interesting sort of a saga with this back in the day, that digging into the Frogman came across is quite interesting. Okay,
Really?
so
You're gonna give yourself.
Yep. We're going to go back, tie in with some Frog Tony stuff.
It's a very weird thing.
Of course, it's weird to you, Frog
Now,
Boy.
Craig says that
how old is this video?
He reads within the Tommy. He don't pay attention to things. He's not
Year
very
ago.
up on the news.
Here's
He's
a
not
whole
very up on
video.
what's going on.
Supposedly, Stuttering Craig interviewed Tommy Tallarico also a while ago. I probably should have pulled that one up instead, but we're
This
going
is the
with
man.
what
This
we've
is
got.
this is the man who claims that my audio sounds like I'm halfway underwater, and then some of his older videos don't. Like, I need to get more professional setup. But yes, that's why I asked
Don't
what
we
the
all?
arrow was. Like, I gotta get the whole, because I gotta get sold with, like, but yeah, like Tony,
Yeah.
right? Tony's content a year ago felt so much better than it is now. Like,
You think so?
something, yeah, look, I gotta say this about Dane. As much as I don't like Dane as far as some of his politics go, that man can cut a video and mix music for his channel. Best out of I have ever seen out of a small YouTube creator. That man can mix and cut a video brilliantly.
Lets him be deceptive, I guess. He could be. Okay.
But no, he
Yeah.
has that knack. Like, it's certain people have it, right? It's like they all have abilities.
Yeah, Tony's good at sort of getting people out of the ruts. Okay.
He's
He has a
good
whole
for
bunch of-
bringing. He's good for bringing certain people up and digging up certain things, but he
Yeah,
doesn't
'cause
have
he's
the
annoying
nuance. But he doesn't have the nuance fully to understand what he's doing. Like, his
Typically.
content like Eric July stuff wasn't dog shit, but it wasn't grade A. Like always S
Yeah.
content. It was stuff like, but a lot of Tony burns a lot of his audience. So I'm very curious because he used to be friends with Stuttering Craig back in the day and like talk to him. Like,
What? Frog Tony?
yeah. Like, there's a
Okay.
whole like little weird, like, from what I have discovered about Frog Tony is he's a networker.
Yeah.
Similar
well,
to me, but like he'll meet people or certain parts like say no, and I'm like, and I really truly wonder how many of them are his actual friends. Like, the people who are his close actual friends that are still on his channel are like Finbar and Potion Sword Run. Like, but his ex-editor wanted to come back to the program like that he runs, but he won't allow him back on. And like, it's like, okay, wouldn't that make your content better than you do now?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. He's a shit stirrer. That's what he excels at. I mean,
He's
you
going
had
down.
LG talking to one of his buddies, Hero Extra. Who I found
Extra
interesting.
Hero, yeah. Extra Hero.
And Extra
right.
Hero's gone now. Okay. He's
Extra
like
Hero,
off
no,
the
Extra
internet.
Hero, like, see, Extra Hero was never going to like Eric July. Extra Hero came in. It's like, how do you convince a person who doesn't like it, one person? But Extra Hero realized at the same time Tony was not
the best of the best.
the best
Okay,
person.
He's willing to
And
milk
then he-
Eric July. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think it gets a little bit lame. Okay, Tommy deserved a little bit more of the heat than Eric July, but
Oh,
Tommy's
Tommy
a
Tellerico. Tommy Tellerico, like was a whole shit stir story. I was not even in there, and he's like, the guy was trying to peddle the next Atari, basically, and he grifted.
Yeah, what I found weird with Frog Tony is what really tipped me off to looking into him was the time he came into the stream you and Gray were doing with the lawsuit, and completely just, I don't know what he was trying to do in that chat. Anyone who wants to look at that episode on Gray's channel can, okay?
Yeah.
Jim on here can get a little bit too far into the details, but
I
still was a
have
little
to
bit
go back
annoying
and
how he
recall
was
it. It's like
acting.
someone asked me on something like, "Was that your vacation? Do you got photos from it?" I'm like, I've slept a lot since then, and I have other stuff on my mind, so you can get kind of like I have.
Get lost in the weeds, okay, but
Like
yeah,
I
he does go
stayed,
after Stuttering Craig a couple of ways. I don't know if I'm finding quite the video, but let's get back into this one because I want to hear. I don't remember if this is the one, and it's a little bit long, but let's see what he's trying to do here.
And some people have accused him of being a liar. Some people said, "Hey, Stuttering Craig, you're a liar." Now, there's no way that Stuttering Craig could have had Tommy Tellerico on his show and not known what was going on. And I say, it's not true. This is not true because this video exists. And thank you, Evil, for the gifted sub. Somebody get that gifted sub. Frog, thank you, Evil, for the gifted. I did. Jay Cuts apparently has gotten the gifted sub. Thank you, Evil, for.
Oh God.
Okay.
He just milks these things
But you know that you
out
shield from the
also.
frog.
Well, bear in mind.
I mean, I'm fine with putting chat up if they're adding something, but I don't just go with
The
everyone.
skateboard thing
But
was just a meme?
he's there for money, obviously.
No, but Dr. Carolyn Borisenko here.
That's
is on
how
the
he
show.
comes off, at least.
And now, this was premiered February 22nd, 2021. Okay. So Greg has this lady on the show. Now, Greg has said nothing about this lady since. I've seen no denouncement. I've seen no videos apologizing for the stream.
Yeah, why would he? Okay, I know who this woman is. She's one of these turf women, I think, feminists
Who is she? Dr. Carol B.
Yeah, she's someone like the honey. Like he's trying to hit Stuttering Craig with this sort of stuff.
And
this is what he
you guys.
does.
He's into comic books. He's into movies, art, lots of things like that.
And I do agree that Stuttering Craig really tries to stay out of too much trouble and tries to do some weird things on his fucking channel. Really hard to figure that out from.
Is this an own? Like, this is what I hate when Tony does this. He goes for the owns and the gotchas on the guys.
Yeah, which is
that he
cringe.
hates. It's cringe. So I'm a
by association. The stream, okay.
Let's
this
say
is a lot of it.
Hypothetically, like with that tweet, right? Let's say, you wanted to talk to somebody and you bring them onto a panel and you don't realize they have some anti-Semitic tweet or some anti-gay tweet, and someone goes, "Did you see this is what this person said?" I didn't know. So do you want to disavow them?
Yeah, that's lame. Okay. Just be like, be careful with them in the future. Okay.
Thanks you
Not
for
trying
letting
to
me
guilt shame everyone by
Thank you for letting
association.
me know. I didn't know this about the person, and if I talk to them again, I'll bring this up again. I'll bring this up to them. Right? Like, did you did you know this person said this? Well, there's a lot of people, they'll bring people on their channels, like, and not do any research on them.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like,
and not push back on them, okay? That's
Like-
fair enough. Fair enough. If that's what you're doing.
hell, half the stuff that Tony squeaks his way on, like with Aru, or he did it with a guy who's on with Hypnotic, where he claims, I'm just a little creator. I was doing the Amico thing. I'm not a grifter. I had to go into his stuff, and I'm like, he bullshitted and lied to you. Go and look at his channel content, and the guy's like, you're right. Because none of the people, when Tony comes on, it's all the people praising him. And it's like, and Tony goes and does this to Stuttering Craig. Yeah, like, okay.
Yeah, let's see what he tries to make. This is a weird guilt by association
We have
thing
stuff
he
to
tried
talk
to pull.
about. The channel's all about things that pop in my mind, things I want to talk about. Sometimes I talk about wrestling, sometimes I talk about whatever. Today I'm talking about idiocracy, stupidity, hypocrisy, and just some of the most blatant hypocrisy I think I've ever seen. Like, it's
Hypocrisy, guys, hypocrisy. Almost like the hypocrisy of calling out Billy Mitchell and not calling out Tommy Tallarico.
like there's virtue signaling, and then there's like what I just saw, which is insane. It's so funny. Look, I don't like to dig into this stuff, but sometimes you just gotta point it and go like, that's dumb as shit. And that's what we're doing today. So hopefully you guys.
It is at 1.5 speed, so you know, if his laugh is a little freaky, it's on me.
A good laugh and kind of roll your eyes a little bit at the insanity that is today's.
This is how it transforms content, folks.
Okay, so I'm getting ready
Still
to
does
watch
it to this day.
Yeah, still so beautiful. He gets other guests to do the dirty work for him, and he sort of patterns the well. Okay, he lets some of the chat do some of the work for him.
I
It's really
remember
nice.
I remember this one. It was he was still a wee little person. Like he's just gotten
This
more.
was a year ago, about maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. You know, talk to enough people, get yourself on the radar. Okay, I just do whatever I want to do. Okay, so I wouldn't try to make such weird arguments. Like the first thing that I went over, his Melanie Mac video. He came on, he had total like, no, I wasn't trying to say. Then what were you trying to? I wasn't trying to say anything with that Melanie. You had a video on Melanie Mag, and you weren't trying to say anything with this when I'm trying to figure out this video. You just obfuscates.
You know what he's doing? I'll tell you what he does after this, but I'll give you.
Tennis is so much better than men's tennis. I love women's tennis. I love it. Women's basketball, can do without. You know, it's not as fun. With that said, I found it over here. Here's the shot. I am all about boosting. I want you guys to see it. I'll probably get copyright struck, but that's okay. Whatever.
See, he just said it. I'll probably get a copyright strike. So that means, Greg, you're 100% aware that Buick can't show the shot because ESPN owns the footage. Greg, are you that slow? You literally, within your own video.
Yeah, it's like hit people with different standards, okay? And you know what's funny about Frog Tony, okay, with this particular thing, is that he accuses Greg of certain things like, yeah, you're getting people along, you're getting people on, bigger people to talk to you, you're hobnobbing with people. The criticism of 1 year ago against Stuttering Craig, could it be applied to him? And
it can be applied. Oh yeah, he's been like fun little fat. This man has been copyright struck or had to edit down videos because he's been breaking TOS so much. He's had to take down streams and edit streams because of that. And you're gonna tell me this man Stuttering Craig should have self-awareness? Like, you know what time I did in one of my early streams? I showed something that was like barely a snippet of Warner Brothers, like the Dune thing. Yeah, that caught it, right? But I knew, I'm like, this is probably going to get my video blocked, right? Or just, like, I'm like,
that happened.
I've known it. Like, but I'm not like this evil person. Like, lessons learned. Never do it again.
Yeah. Okay. You live, then you learn, then you get loves. The YouTube algorithm might not actually give you what you need with particular thing here. Okay. And he's trying to show off his channel. Okay. I think I've made the point I want to make about this particular frog boy here. And Stuttering Craig also, a lot of people are hypocritical. Okay. That's just the goddamn truth. They'll throw shade at people for shit they're willing to do themselves all around town. And it's just funny to me how criticism works and how the live stream thing works. Like Tony. He wants to try to pretend. I don't think he even pretends like he's not milking fucking Eric July for content. Okay. He was a little bit more humble with the fucking Tommy Tallarico thing because he was more on the right side there. more on the right side than someone like Smash JT at that particular time, or Saggy Melons, who were a little bit too weak. But you should see the stream Saggy Melons has with Tipster. Okay, she goes after Tipster in this one stream, and then he comes on and she totally like white knights and praises the shit out of him. It's funny as
So
hell
it's
how this
like
stuff goes.
it's the weird thing, like with Tony. He basically, like, yes, I agree, and to a certain factor, right? With indirect sober, that's actually a thing. People can all be hypocrites, or you. I try to be like a genuine person, like oh, I don't want to do any drama. I don't want to do any baiting at all to people. But like, I know I do it a little bit to stir up something. It's kind of like normal, but like with like Tony's case, right? And this is, you saw you change it as content. He leaned totally into the Eric July thing. Then he got picked up by the great EBS. Like, he was all friends with JDA a long time ago. And like, oh, now I can't be friends with JDA anymore.
Okay, and to sort of tie this all together for the very end of this, oh, he really stuck a bridge out with what the fuck. Yeah, you get into this sort of content that he deals with here. Ethan Van Skyver joins us to talk about Rukabaverse, blah, blah, blah. Here's the Stuttering Craig sort of section here, the real Gaming Awards grip. I don't even think, I think it's just beyond the time. I think this project of his, the real Gaming Awards, is just because he's old man. Okay. He wants a physical location with a physical, he's stuck in olden times. He wants olden times, and I wouldn't back it myself, but there might be other people.
Are you in his videos or his live streams?
Yeah, his video. This is his video section here. Has quite a few Smash JT.
A lot
Gets
of
kicked
them
out of the.
A lot of these are disingenuous. Like, someone used to edit for him, like it used to be so much better. Then he just went with a bland overlay. Like, Wizard of Wordplay was on there a while, but Wizard of Wordplay's kind of gone really bad as well. Like, his channel, if you look at it, has the weirdest, like, identity to it. If you look at all of that, it doesn't make sense.
I try to avoid it, the IJP Mexican, okay? I have no morals.
He
Just consider
actually
me
was
that
like,
way.
see, he was at one point, like, he did a stream where he was like friends with a lot of people, but then it's like, we used to have a phrase, me, LG, and Renown, we still do it. Who has friends, right? Who needs friends? Enemies. We have friends like Tony.
Yep.
You know, they turn on you as soon as stuff goes, right? And this is like what he does. Like, you can go down. Like, he used to cut up videos, like, or say, "Oh,
Well, he's not as easy to really pin on anything in particular."
No.
Okay, there is a reason besides this to sort of connect it back to Dane in the end, because of some of his sort of debates with Nerdette. Okay. Like, he put himself out on the line for fucking, what's his name? Young Clipper.
Oh yeah, Young Clipper, who's Mint's boyfriend. Like, see, okay, IJP. Like, the only reason I don't particularly like him personally these days is because the man is, look, he basically popped up on my radar over a year ago when he tried to get Eric July to box him. And then he tried to phrase it as, "Oh, I'm going to do whatever." I'm like, okay, you're just a clown. Then he went into LG's and Renown stream, and I had a chat with him on Discord. Led to some shit later on. Then it goes into, I squished him, defeated him, and then he brought me back up again. Personally, this time around, I don't really care for him, but I am going to shit on him if I get a chance, because I have to be called an expert on him. I don't dare to get that. But
Fair enough. I don't
because
hate him. I just want to fight him because he's an idiot and it would be fun content. Fucking with
he
him.
has admitted that he is actually a grifter. Like Ray
Yeah, I think he
called
did.
him a grifter during the whole thing when LG literally ripped his throat out in the debate, in like talking to him, and all he could go was going Millie Mouse, mumbling, like, "Oh, I'm gonna call you homeless, Larry." No, dude, that's all you
It's
got.
lame.
All you got
It
is
is
insults
all
and
he
gotchas.
seems to have half the time. I
You
will
don't
agree with
have
that.
any substance to take anybody down. He comes after me and says I'm mentally ill, and that man is beyond mentally ill.
Okay,
And as
let's
I
not
said,
go too deep into that. You're just a logger for him.
I
But
don't
yeah,
like
there
him
is
that
many
much.
instances of this that I want to get into.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I don't like the man.
This is some Tristan Nerdette newsstand going against him.
Good. Like if you're pissing in a litter box, I'm gonna shame you. But I can you not understand from a perspective, just on the human perspective, why it might be a little weird?
Weird to not go to an award?
No, weird to have somebody following you around.
He didn't, but we just established he didn't follow him around because there's several events. Two places not following someone around.
That's enough. Like, I'm sorry.
Okay, for context, Riley or young Clipper
Oh, this
got
is
really into trouble.
You pulled this from. This is on the stream that I pulled down and I clipped out part of it and I showed it on one of my stuff, where he said Riley had didn't do anything illegal or harass Eric July electronically or harass the establishment.
Yeah, he literally posted like the beginning of the front of Eric's house, which I think people confirmed for me was Eric's house. Wasn't a full dox or anything, because apparently Eric July's freaking house is public domain or something like that, with something that could be taken
public.
as a
It's
threat.
not public domain. Okay, Tony gets what when he says someone doxes him. There's a difference between doxing and what is public. Hold on a second. I'll explain this. A lot of stuff is public knowledge. Like Tony physically opened up a website, registered an LLC in the past for his Geek Getaway, right? That's legally registered by the state, and that's public knowledge. If he registers a business, and it's like the same as anybody, that's public knowledge. You're not actually doxing. But when you dox someone's public knowledge, right? That's public, like anyone can look it up with the state. If you have an LLC, it's registered by the state. If you have a business, a website, that is something people can find.
Yeah, and he used that to sort of go against LG with that.
But
'cause
he
had a
went
registered
deeper
business.
with LG, which
He
was
did.
going to expose his entire LLC that you have to pay for. And he was going at one point going to expose both LG's and Renowned's tax records. But that's a record
Yeah,
for
that
another
seems like
day.
some crazy ass stuff. And in this, he defends another crazy ass motherfucker,
And
young Clipper.
Riley, right? And you can go, and I'm saying on my channel, you can go look when he got arrested. Me and I talked to Renowned on this. He's like, well, I'm just protesting on a sidewalk. And Eric July couldn't claim harassment. It was. If
Yeah,
you
he
get that
tries
far.
to stay within the letter of the law and not the spirit of the law. There seems to be a lot of Tony's sort of defenses. But what I want to bring up, look at how hard he's defending young Clipper. Okay, here from Nerdette, who's supposed to be his friend. I don't see him defending his friends when it comes to against EVS or any of these other people. His defense just seems to be for some of these crazy people, like we're going to find out in here.
Oh, he defends
And
EVS. He knows guards for EVS very hard.
and he hasn't been friends. He used to go hard, so you're in his friend group, okay? You're
He
fine,
used
okay?
to. Oh,
He
he
won't
used to
defend
bash
friends
EBS
from
before
friends.
before this man was putting out a comic book.
Yes, but was
he
that
was bashing
genuine bashing or just trying to get his attention? He is truly someone who's like, if you're talking about I can understand why Tony has this delusion that anyone who talks about him is just trying to grift off him, because that's how he operates. That's how he thinks. He's going to defend
So when
this
EBS did
thing.
when EBS did his weird heel turn on Eric July that I called like September of last year, right, with a night letter.
True enough.
Tony all embraced it. Basically, it embraced him, and then that's how he subtly got into Comicsgate. Him, Katie.
Yeah, how he became the chosen one of CC.
He supposedly, by the way, calls himself that because it pisses people off, including CG.
It's supposed to be ironic, okay? No self-awareness, act like he has no self-awareness. Does he actually not have self-awareness, or he just likes to be a jackass on the internet? That's up to you. But yeah, this is just complete derangement.
Right?
No, he didn't, because
went
he
there
literally
Oh, stop it.
he went there for what he did. Look, even Eric July admits that Riley pulled up during the day, saw where the location was, left, and then came back at night when no one was there. Riley literally waited till no one was around so he could pull shenanigans.
And
He
still
knew
went there
that he didn't want
twice.
to, because he didn't want to see nobody. He just wanted to pull shenanigans.
Okay, that's totally fine. I'm not disagreeing with that. You have to.
Yes, you are, because you're saying he's following Eric July around, implying that he's looking to see Eric July. He was
Why
not
did he
looking
go
to see
to
Eric
the
July
con? Why did he go to the con?
to annoy Eric July.
Oh, still right.
That one, you said the con, but not the warehouse.
Okay, but he went there. He went to the warehouse twice.
See, he's using a technical defense for people he just met. It's just the cloud economy, okay? That's how he operates. It's literally how he thinks.
Do you remember what he said to us when he was on your stream? He said, we need to define what colloquially a local language means in this stream.
Yeah, it's some leftist bullshit.
It's like
it's about trying to understand what people are saying and instead of distorting it. And a lot of people don't want to understand what people are saying. They want to distort it because they want to go for the own. They want to go for this stupid blood sport mentality that's a fucking dumbass path. And I can engage with that sometimes. Sometimes that can be good content, okay? But you're never going to understand something with the way that Tony does his fucking shit. He just fucking turns what he thinks.
So when Tony goes into a discussion, right, he tries to figure out, oh, this is what like colloquial language means, right? Oh, so we all agree this is what grifter means. Oh, even if it's not the actual language, but this is what the group thinks the word means, right? And it's like, so he does this all the time, right? Like he makes the thing of when I'm not going to go into it.
And a lot of people do this bullshit all the time. Okay, it's not going to excuse him. Just like fucking Dane trying to use autism as an excuse for his outburst and his stupidity.
This is him talking about the whole here where he was outside the establishment, and Eric July had a warrant on him, and then even the people went to Twitter to get the information because it's online harassment.
Yeah, harassment.
But it's trolling, guys. Okay. He has the right to be on the sidewalk. In the video, it's on my stuff that I should have it public. He basically was outside the venue going to like Nerderotic's wife, yelling like "Suey" like a pig and making pig noises in front of the whole like area. Is that not harassment?
It seems either weird. In this defense, he's defended a lot of
and he was asked to
he interviewed the guy who went to Eric July's fucking gravesite. I think Tristan got him on that also.
Moronic Opinions did that. But then it's like, oh, Riley's just joking, guys. It's all kayfabe, guys.
Yeah, it can't turn into something dangerous like pulling freaking saggy melons. Not saggy melons. Sorry, autistic boobs. Mint. Okay, Mint and Riley. That from that sort of parasocial relationship.
And if you
that
really
she's
want
been
to
in
dig
for years.
further, if you really want to dig a little further, Mint and Riley have a very loose association with Dick Masterson. And they might be paid employees of Dick Masterson.
Yeah, I meant the fucking Frog Tony was trying to promote the fact he was like a common guest on Vito's stream for a bit, and that does seem to be correct. Okay, trying to use the cloud economy, getting on Vito's stream, get other people on his stream. Okay, he's very good at all this baiting.
Oh, he's good at
stuff.
this. Don't get me wrong. He has a talent. Does he have the talent to execute it and not? Like,
and he's fine with finding people like Tristan who will consider themselves friends, and they just consider this is just bullshit. It's all just trolling. That's their whole mindset.
look, it's all fun and games. It's literally all. Remember, and I'm not saying this. This is like with like the DNC protests that are coming up. It's all a natural protest until violence breaks out, and you have to step in.
Peaceful.
Yeah. It's mostly peaceful until windows start getting broken and fires start getting set. Just say. But like this thing here, this here, like, is if it's still up, it's like he goes hard and he says, "Oh, by Texas law," but this man lives in Illinois. He doesn't understand. Riley was charged with electronic harassment.
But should have he been charged? And what does that say about Eric's status as being a real man? Can he please his woman? Go off on all sorts of tangents, which
It's all like this stuff, and it's not even really like if you want the actual legal definition, right? Because we live in the internet era, you do need to watch what you say. It will not let you get jobs. It will not. You can't. And let's say, hypothetically, be in certain states, I tell you to go Minecraft yourself, and you go Minecraft yourself, I could be charged with manslaughter because I helped encourage it.
Yeah, it's an insane world we live in.
That's an insane
people
world.
are taking advantages of defending crap like this with some autistic sort of a argument about what's legal and what's not, and the real definitions.
Children there, Tony.
Do you want to know why it wasn't the owners?
I don't care. You're definitively saying
Riley called the owners 3 weeks before and let them know he was going to be outside.
That's awesome. That's a really smart move.
So we know it wasn't the owners.
And they could have got fed up with it. You don't know that it wasn't the owners if that's your only reasoning there, because they could have said okay 3 weeks before and seen how he acted in public and been like, nah, I'm not dealing with this.
Okay, so then the cops. What would the cops do in a typical trespass or disturbance?
See, like he's totally goes down these weird fucking lines. I mean, he's an interesting person to try to figure out, and I really trying to hit him with anything. He's very sly. Okay, like a
He's
fucking
sly.
frog.
He didn't realize this was an
Trying
artist.
to dip out of certain things here and there. I find him an interesting case study. For the record, I don't hate Frog Tony or anything like that. I'm trying to understand his fucking mindset. It's like a very interesting space study.
This is how he argues, though, Vincent. He'll go, but this is illegal. This is a man who thought because Isom Church is the character Isom from the comic.
Yeah,
and
I
Eric
saw that
July,
retarded ass argument on Surgeon.
And Eric July
he made this whole thing that Surgeon, just because he was incorrect that Isom Church can't trademark it, they have to sue them all. Surge's Renown Zero was definitely incorrect there, but he totally just neglected the fact that Isom's Church has a trademark on the pretty much the acronym. Okay, and he tried to compare it to the Hulk Hogan case. I found that interesting, that the Hulk Hogan case, just because they gave up to the WW, just because they sort of bent the knee to the Hulk Hogan. They tried to get Hulk Hogan to give him money for using the word Hulk, when they owned it, the fucking thing there, and that was so ridiculous. I think
so
the
there is
WWE.
so if an acronym, right? And this is where it gets really murky in trademark law. Like, and this is when Tony took that massive L, and that's when I like stopped screwing with him because a man was broken by that point. And I'm just like, yeah, you're not as smart as you thought you were. So, like, when WWE or WWF, right, as it was known, the World Wildlife
Before they got
Federation-
sued by the
because
worldwide.
you had two organizations using the same acronym, capital WWF. Okay, that's an easy brand confusion. ISOM Church, capital ISOM. Name, ISOM, ISOM.
Yeah, Eric July would have won that lawsuit most likely if
And
he had
they
a good
settled
enough
out of
lawyer.
court, and it became a nothing burger. And this man was sitting over here as a legal lawyer. Oh, you're going to lose. You might as well settle. No. There is no confusion, right? They go,
You just don't want the bad press, okay? And it's the same thing with the holder Nick Calandra. Everyone wants to jump on him, even though the other Frost has made it clear that Grums is someone he thinks should be kept
what do
away
you mean
from
the other
communities.
Frost? Are we talking about Alyssa Moricante?
No, I do not defend Melissa Marcante, okay? She's done some
Are you
stupid
calling
ass
her the other
shenanigans.
Frost? No. It's a
They
joke.
no, the other Frost is the one who came out against Nick Calandra, and everyone jumped on. Yeah, tried to make this about Gamergate, but if you look at his video, it seems like Nick was pro Gamergate without coming out as Nick. Maybe he was just trying to protect it, like other Frost was trying to make in his video, trying to bring the point back around. All around, all these
The reason
people.
why I make the joke about the other Frost is because
Yes, I know.
she gets called.
They've been calling her as bad as Frost, but
Yes.
no.
Eh.
Other Lisa Mercante is just a menace to society in general, and she's gaining as much off these guys as they're gaining off of her.
You know,
And
I'm
she's
going to be
getting
honest
all of
with
it.
you. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, the thing a lot of these people, and I find with Tony, it's like I find him an interesting case study as well, because he's okay. This is my
Insane?
perspective. Well, this
Hard to
is just my
figure out.
perspective. There's a reason why he acts the way he does, right? Because he himself, right? He'll admit this himself. He's from Chicago, I guess, born and raised up there. And if you know anything about Chicago, right? They're not really, he goes, but I voted for Trump and I'm conservative. But then you listen to him. He argues like a liberal and an SJW. Like, I'm like, does this make sense? Oh, it makes sense if you realize Chicago was taken over by the progressives and the socialists years ago before they moved out to California. Now, in the other case I've seen Tony defend, let's say he likes to claim he has to call out the bad conservatives on his side, but he acts like a quote-unquote control agent, but he takes the tactics of the left and acts like an SJW and wants them canceled, not corrected. Am I wrong?
Yep, cancel culture is back. It's just easier to
like-
do it. Everyone
it's like
justifies
it's
why
like-
canceling someone.
But
is
if a
fine.
conservative, let me say this, but if a conservative uses those tactics, he calls them an SJW. There's no winning the argument. He'll try to take the best winning side.
And that's most people who don't stand for anything. Okay, like
principles.
Smash JT, I think he's the same thing. He's willing to switch sides and say whatever he wants. Don't know about Grums or anyone else. I doubt any one of truly
Grums is an
any
opportunist.
ideological. Probably. Grums is probably opportunist. Okay. He almost tried to co-op the original Gamergate towards his own sort of devices back in the day. Okay. But now he's just failed. There's so much criticism going around, hypocrisy and all this other stuff. Okay. As I said I would speak on a couple of things. The sort of Dane stuff definitely was worth going over in the most detail. As I said, that TheOtherFrost video, this one in general, share this tab, isn't really something worth even. I could just go over this entire video and be like, yeah, that doesn't prove this claim. This doesn't prove this claim. Blah, blah, blah. This is, maybe you're correct. I don't have the knowledge, neither do you, to really say any of this crap. And you're fed stuff by SJWs and the corporate people, but people are just going all over this, and I find this interesting. This is on the back. This is the guy. Is hilarious here. He shows this. This is pretty much the schizo site, schizo person that Nick wanted gone. He get his domain, his name is a domain, and just outright just going after him. No reason to go into it. This guy who has this website did a book of demons, and he tried to have some cope about it. So there's a lot of crap all around. The Frost of Rivia, this documentary on Nick Calandra, is a nothing burger in my opinion. If he comes back with better evidence, I'll reconsider it. But that one video is crap. Most streams done by Frog Tony's crap. I do like Stuttering Craig in one ways, but he's definitely off balance. I just hate everyone. I'm Archie Bunker. I'm not racist. I hate everyone individually. I hate everyone. Any last thoughts on this? It's been quite a wild ride. We've covered a couple of different things. Dane, TheOtherFrost, Frog Tony, and a little bit of Stuttering Craig. Any final statements?
Not really. No, I just have.
Okay.
I'm trying to lay low from a lot of stuff. From like, I have my own like weird ballpark of stuff. Like, and I mean, I get accused of. Like, I have these people who, it's like right now, like, I have people, it's like you have your people you get, like, around orbiters. I have the orbiters or Tony, and, like, I have, like, a guy go, you're a hypocrite and you do this, like, or hypocrite because you say this. Isn't that weird? It doesn't make you look good. I'm like, but I'm, like, fighting amoral evil, so... Yeah, like if I want to engage. But see, I have other stuff like I have to do. Like I don't do drama content mainly. I'll comment on it. But like I'm going to be streaming Black Myth Wukong tomorrow. Starting it. So.
That would be nice. Okay. I
well, it's actually not a... I was waiting till a day before so I understood the game. Apparently it's not going to be Souls-like. So I'm got more interested in it. I was going to think about it. It's on my list. But it's like, I just find it weird when I have to deal with people like Tony, which they have no identity in their content. And it's like, I say this as a person who watches YouTube more, as much as makes some stuff. I'm like, what is the identity of your channel? What do you do? Okay.
Well, I can't really talk about that. I do whatever I want to do.
You do what you do, but you do have a theme, right? You have a theme.
I stick on some subjects a lot more. Okay, there's certain subject matters that I cover, and there's also other random stuff. Like I'll have a couple of videos. I'll get that Batman video out instead of just the stream. Got something else cooking.
So are you going to review the Penguin and give it a negative score too?
No. I am working on one particular thing that I had on one particular playlist. I might actually just play this out on for anyone wanting to understand or not. Let me just give you a sample of a little bit of what I'm doing to go out on. Okay, so let me bring it up real quick. Okay, and I'll end with a sample of a video I'm putting together that is not public yet, and I need to trim down the beginning because people are impatient. Okay, so this is the unlisted video that I'm trying to get into. It's very confusing. And I will leave with the pre-recorded stuff that I was going to start with. So here and let Asmongold take up a bit of the reading here.
I think my favorite thing about Mark Kern is that his third failed game. Why can't you just call it something that's not weird? Is this Ember? Like this is the close. Like I'm gonna call it Ember, okay? Because it's pretty.
Just to be clear, this is a cut. Last minute stream to sort of end this stream off on, which I need to put together better and rearrange some things. So he's going into Nick Calandra's first starting into digging in to Ember.
Update 2 years ago. The updates were just concept art, nothing from the actual game because it doesn't exist. Okay, quite ethical, but he's still taking money on it. Let's keep going, shall we? They're still accepting money. It seems like there's about 4 people working on the project, and they're very focused on revamping the website due to increased attention. You might think that he's using all this Twitter outrage to find a way to get funding. This is March 2024. Okay. I do think that this isn't true. I don't think that it's true that he's using the Twitter outrage to get money. I think Mark Kern just doesn't like it.
Come on, Asmon. Clearly, from these screenshots, working in revamping website or the influx of new followers from Twitter. This clearly demonstrates at least the team working on Kern's Ember thought that Kern's Twitter activity was, at least in part, in the aim of eventually taking that Twitter audience and getting them on board with his video game project that they were working on. Whether or not that was the truth, that's the game plan. That's what the team clearly thought so. And Mark used this particular thread of Nick to do so.
They post updates every day on this forum thread if you'd like to see how much progress is being made on the game. Okay, let's see it. Well, this is March 30th, and today's May 7th, or April 7th. So how about FOMO? Putting skins on sale for a game that doesn't exist only for a limited time so that suckers give them money for things that have zero value. Been selling skins for a game that doesn't exist since 2017. Impressive. Yeah, I think this is stupid too. It's better. They also had a monthly subscription service. Not only are they making a game, but he's also making a novel, a tabletop RPG. Notice how he doesn't advertise any of this on Twitter because even his audience would call it out. USD help fund the development. $7 monthly Patreon. The game's been in development since 2017. He promised backers a playable demo in 2020 and never delivered. And all they've shown in 7 years of development is concept art. Let's go back further where he raised another $1 million for an Oculus Rift project that got a reveal trailer and then died. Okay, so this was 9 years ago and the project died. His motive for all of this, in case you were wondering. If you want to help me change the gaming industry, like my most recent expose on the community manager and their secret discussion groups, please subscribe.
So at a certain point, Asmon rage quits and goes off with his own thoughts about this. Not objective at all, in my personal opinion, but what his audience probably comes to him for. So if you want to know what Asmongold's opinion on all of this is, despite how little he's actually looked into this matter and his own particular bias, probably influenced by his audience, the same audience who upvoted these 2 comments here on this particular video where he goes over it. Mark Kern 5310, 3 months ago. Happy to come talk about it. No response from Asmon. The next one's gonna be a little bit relevant coming up very soon. And despite him not getting a mention in this video, it's quite interesting how highly upvoted his comment is. Gigabear Panda, hi, I'm the guy the journalist claims got scammed. It's nonsense. I have access to everything I paid for and told the guy to retract his claims, but he refused. Keep his name in mind. It's gonna come up very soon. So let me pick up from where Asmongold raged quit. His followers are tagging him to tell on me. You can't make up how stupid these people are. It's comical at this point. I've unblocked. I'll unblock Grums right now myself and see if he wants to explain where this money is going. He won't. Keep in mind, this is a day for the Asmongold video. Even drop. Will Grums, the person who's going to save the game industry from all us awful people, speak up about his ethics and mishandling of money as he accepts subscriber payments and sell skins for a game that doesn't. Okay, that's enough for that particular preview. I'm out. That preview is going to be coming across at some point, hopefully in the future. Okay, until next time, I'm done.